Text SECURE to the number 989898.
What if you had the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi and the price didn't change for 5 years thanks to Xfinity's summer savings event? You don't have to worry about that part of your future. Now through June 15th, get gig Wi-Fi for just $50 a month for 5 years with equipment and unlimited data included. No strings, no commitments, and get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. You're guaranteed 5 years of Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi that keeps you protected online from threats. Plus, you can even try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities during the Xfinity Summer Savings event. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions applies, requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account, taxes and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply to mobile select. Xfinity internet required, speeds vary, use of fiber, coaxial cable.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents the Honorable Judge Dan.
More hours here with you on this beautiful, beautiful day. We're broadcasting live from the Tech Center. Quickly out to the RamosLaw.com hotline already. Mike and Thornton says, John Wayne, also known as Marion Morrison. Yes, that's right. Well, thank you, Mike and Thornton. We were just talking about with Kyle and Cello about if you could fill out a foursome, you were one of the golfers who, anybody throughout history, dead or alive, who would it be? And I had Frank Sinatra, and then I panicked. I just said, I don't know, John Wayne. John Wayne probably had some pretty crazy stories. I probably would replace him later before we actually teed off. But yeah, that would be great. But yeah, entire show. I think I listened to almost every minute of their show. And for a change, they didn't give me any ammunition. They didn't say anything too outrageous that I could come in. Normally I like to come in, we do crosstalk, it's fun, and I could just hammer one of them on something that they said that is completely out of bounds. I was looking at the rundown from last week. It was like, make sure you don't move next to Kyle Reese because he'll rat you out. He's an HOA rat. Snitch. But nothing. They just did a nice show. It was fine. I picked up a new term, flop SGA, or flop GA, not SGA, flop GA. Which hopefully that era is done. The Oklahoma City Thunder flopping out of the Western Conference Finals last night at home really dominated. It was a game where they kept coming back, but the Spurs really kind of came out of the gate, just put it on them. And then from that point on, it was just like, well, the Thunder would come back, nip at their heels, and then pull away a little bit and this and that. I think maybe the Thunder took the lead once or twice, but for the most part, the Spurs were just kind of put on the gas. And I was surprised to see SGA getting a little bit of a peek as to what it's like to be Jamal Murray, because the announcers they weren't killing him on it, but they just kept saying towards the end of the game, SGA was gassed. Like he was too out of shape, played too many minutes. When his team needed him, the announcers were saying, we need somebody else to step up and make a shot. SGA's gassed. So I was surprised by that. Sean, we already have somebody for you. Your buddy Lee from Lee the Amputees on the RamosLaw.com text line. Good morning, Your Highness. I hope Sean is working today. Joe is all right, but I prefer Sean. So there. How do you feel about that, Sean Boyd?
You know, maybe I've made Lee a little bit of a believer over the course of the last few months. I've been polishing up all my opinions and takes and my knowledge nonetheless. And I think when I just shot back at him a little bit in a very nice way, maybe I gained a friend.
Well, I think you guys will be on again, off again.
Maybe we could be stepbrothers, right? Like the movie?
Yeah.
Like we don't really like each other, but we just deal with each other.
Golf foursome, Mike Leach, John Daly, and Peyton Manning. That'd be a good one. That'd be a real good one. I couldn't really, other than John Daly would be drinking and smoking cigarettes the whole time. That would be a little annoying. But, yeah, no, I mean, that would be great. The stories that those guys have. I'd said, Barkley. That's what I'm about. It's just, I wish we would actually get a little more of it because all the guys around here, these former athletes, I've worked with them for 20-some years, and the stories they have that you hear off air, and then every once in a while they'll sprinkle one in, a nugget. Like they have so many great stories, they've forgotten them. They can't even remember them all. But then they'll be like, oh, yeah, I remember this one time, bloop, 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 bloop. But they got to protect the code, too. They can't be just spilling all the business out there. In fact, one time, who was it? Clint Hurdle. So we had a guy, Jim Tatum, was working here with Jerry DiPoto. They were doing nights. And I believe he happened to hit the first Grand Slam at Coors Field, I believe. So that was kind of his claim to fame. He was doing a show with Jerry DiPoto, who's now blown up. DiPoto's now the GM of the Mariners. And Tatum was kind of, talk about stories, that guy. And he was just I don't know, maybe a 10-year journeyman in Major League Baseball, wasn't even a star, and he would have these stories not suitable for air. They're awesome. But so he's pulling no punches. He's trying to make his bones in this business. And he goes to the ballpark. And Clint Hurdle comes over and gives him a little talking to. Like, hey, I heard what you were saying, and if you want to be, essentially said, if you still want to be in the fraternity, you still want to be in the club, you better shut your yapper. A foursome that, of course, you'd be one of them, so three more. Yeah, it was a great fun to talk about. Love Sean Boyd, great addition to the show.
This on Life 9, and I'm just trying to, get my rank up. So, I mean.
Okay.
And then the other one would be Kobe Bryant. I would love to sit down with both of those two cats. I want to hear the story about how he maneuvered around telling on Shaq. I got to know.
Yeah, that would be a great story. But Rick James, I don't know. Like, what are you going to rap with Rick James about?
See, there was a documentary on Showtime that they put out about Rick James, and I think that, his story was very, it was colorful. And, documentaries that kind of detail the times of the Rolling Stones type of individuals. He was one of those people that really had an interesting story. And I would like to ask him, why were you doing that? Like, what made you do all that? Well, I know what made him do it, but, money, fame, and drugs made him do a lot of things that I'm pretty sure that if he looked back on it today, he probably wouldn't have done the same things.
Yeah, it's interesting to me. That's why, for example, I like the documentaries, they're not all behind the musics, but basically in that style of behind the musics. I don't love music in general. I think I love great music. Unfortunately, there's very little great music in the world. Paul McCartney, that'd be another guy. Maybe I don't have to play golf with him. The life that guy has lived. And you even get a peek at some of the stories because you'll be watching certain documentaries and they're like, yeah, we were at this table. They'll be telling a documentary about some other rock star that died or whatever. And they're like, oh, yeah, we were at the table at the club with Paul McCartney and Linda McCartney or whatever. The stories, Paul McCartney was everywhere. I'm not talking about fame. I'm talking about one of the most influential people that has lived one of the most interesting lives in history, and he's still out there kicking it. Bob Dylan's just out there somewhere. Bob Dylan, not that I like his music, but just an icon. He's just doing, I don't know what he's doing. He's just living out there. There was a singer, Joe Cocker. Remember him? Have a Little Help with My Friends. He did the Wonder Years theme song thing, or the song they used for the Wonder Years. He just built himself, like, called it Cocker's Castle, some obscure town here in Colorado. He's like, I don't need the exciting life anymore. And he just moved to some tiny town that you've never heard of, built himself a nice little mini mansion, and just lived out his days. There are so many people out there with interesting stories in today's day and age. You think Taylor Swift is big? They got nothing on the Beatles. She's got nothing on the Beatles.
Dan, I'm getting ready to go in a controversial direction here.
Okay.
I would like to sit down, and this might not be like a go play golf or have dinner moment, but this would be more of a casual interview. I would love to sit down with the front office of the 49ers, the regime that was there when Colin Kaepernick was going through his trials and tribulations. I would love to be a fly on the wall listening to those conversations.
You know, I just was thinking about him this week. Something came up, and I was like, man, talk about your all-time backfires. It was something with, because there's athletes that it's becoming more and more prevalent, but just athletes, it may have been, I can't remember if I was just thinking about Von Miller, because we're going to talk about Von Miller. And half the I think his ego just got in the way, and he thought he was so much bigger and better than he was that it just cost him his career. So he's a fascinating story. Now, are you a Colin Kaepernick fan?
I'm a fan of what his intent was and what it brought to the light. However, I wasn't a fan of his style of play. It was okay for the run that it was, and then when they went to the
bit of a player. He had a nice little run. I remember watching his final college game. I'd never seen him play before. He's in some bowl game with Nevada, and I'm like, this guy's terrible. Like, he can't throw. Like, it's weird, but they were moving. But for somehow, I think they lost the game, but they were marching down on somebody. Maybe they did win the game, but it was a bowl game. I'm like, this is a weird guy because his motion is terrible, but he had a pretty good career. And then when he got to the league, I'm like, no, there's no way he'll ever do anything. And then he got into the right system, right place, right time, and he had his heyday. He had a run. But like with a lot of quarterbacks that play that
version of Tim Tebow. Like, the guy's can clearly win games because he got to a Super Bowl, but his quarterback style was lukewarm.
Yeah. Wow. Back. Why not? What's wrong with Tim Tebow?
I mean, again, I said he was a winner.
Were you here during the magical
here.
Run?
That was when I was trying out for the Broncos and got cut. That's when they packed me up and sent me home with a bag full
You told me before. Who was throwing to you in that?
Tim Tebow was there, but he came over. When I went over to the facility, I'm over there at Dove Valley at the time, and I see Tim Tebow walking through, and I say, oh, okay. I see Demaryius Thomas walking through and Eric Decker at the time. And I'm like, oh, okay. These are the guys that they said. My agent told me, look, you're going in trying to compete with these guys, so good luck because they just got drafted, and you ain't got you have a shot in hell in making this team. So it was like, all right, I'm sitting up there watching. I watched Demaryius Thomas and Eric Decker play with a fine tooth comb, right? Or when they were running and selling a run play and blocking. Like, I looked at all of that, but I mainly looked at Tim Tebow, and I said, well, this guy can't throw to save his life. And so that is where I made the decipher back then that Tim Tebow was just a good football player that was getting by being in the right system at the right time, and he caught lightning in a bottle for just a couple of moments.
Well, he was a winner.
Once the NFL caught up to Tim, you see he got packed up just like Sean did.
So if you could have just made the, what I'm thinking, if you could have just made the roster, you know what you could have been?
Yeah, I'd be a host on The Fan.
Yeah, you'd be one of those guys, because every year, here's what happens. The Broncos have been dying for playmakers for years now, maybe up to a decade. But every year the media falls in love with decisions to make a wide receiver, and you're like, what tough decisions? Like, but they launch onto like 3 or 4 or 5 guys. Or that guy. You could have been one of those guys.
Well, but the thing is, when the game of attrition sets in, Dan, I definitely could have been one of those guys because injuries happen, And then you look at the the Broncos roster this year at receiver. Troy Franklin takes an injury. You trade away the gentleman, I forget his name.
Vele.
You send him. And now you have all the plays in Cortland Sutton, and you seen he shelled up when it was time for him to shine. You need a playmaker. And that brings me to a question that I wanted to get to. I was thinking about this. Why aren't the Broncos in the sweepstakes for a guy like A.J. Brown?
Oh, they can't do that now because they got Jalen Waddle. It would make zero sense.
Now, there's a gentleman by the name of Hakeem Butler from Iowa State, played in the NFL for just a second. He had a cup of tea. Now he's over in the UFL. The guy is 6'5", 245 pounds on the and if you practice squat him, and I'm pretty sure he would do that over playing in the UFL. Why not?
Now, we mentioned Tim Tebow because on the show we were talking about this. James Merrillack came on. We talked about John Elway had just made his – he went back-to-back last night. Morgan played Friday night and Saturday night. We're like, well, who's going to be his second guy? Or gal? Could be a gal. Who's going to be the celebrity? And we threw around like Tim Tebow. I guess Payton was out kind of going down lines like, well, isn't it funny because maybe Bo Nix or whatever, but like how all these Broncos quarterbacks would be next in line even though they're fairly mediocre. We were talking about he thought Jake Plummer would – like Jake Plummer doesn't have – because there was a time – so he's trying to make the point that Broncos quarterbacks are always better than pretty much not better, but more famous or than John Elway in this town. And he immediately defaulted to what all these other hosts. And the only reason I'm illustrating this is because it's going to happen again. I'm going to get one of my teammates here on the Fan on, and they're going to say, Dan, there you go again. You're distorting what I said, or I did not say that. It was bigger than John Elway. I said, James, you don't remember this? I gave you a hard time about this for probably a couple months, and it was an article on DenverSports.com. You said it. And he goes, oh, wait, that's right. I did say that. So I busted him. Got with the organization. He was like just maybe a notch below Payton, John, and then it was probably him. Like after the Super Bowl for like 4 or 5 years there, he kind of owned this town. Which, you know what's the one that's weird to me is, maybe just because he's so soft-spoken, but he still lives here. He's still part of the community. He's helping out as a ambassador for CSU. More than anybody probably on the face of this planet, even more than John Elway, I think Terrell Davis is the man responsible, as a player anyway, for the Broncos finally breaking through and getting not one but two NFL championships, Super Bowl championships, and he's almost like an afterthought. Talk about somebody that should own this town. I would say it should probably be Terrell Davis, but he just doesn't, in my mind, he doesn't even get the love. For example, I talked to 3 or 4 different James. Nobody brought up Terrell Davis. Terrell Davis never comes up when you think about the all-time Denver sports icons. He's like an afterthought. How could that be? He was the best. He was the MVP, 2-time Super Bowl champion. He does
and away from the game and retired, right? This is a true fact, though, Dan. Morgan Wallen does, he's a country singer, right? He has country genre?
Yes,
okay,
man.
Okay. So I was at a concert, the Magna Carta concert, Jay-Z, and I was in a suite next to Von Miller. And Von Miller is at a urban rap concert wearing a cowboy hat. So it would almost be like apropos for us to make
was the biggest cowboy,
the biggest Denver Bronco cowboy around this place. That dude owns a chicken coop in a farm down in Texas.
A ranch.
Man. Like the dude is a straight up cowboy. So why not?
All right. Yeah, I mean, that could have been. He was in the news this week. We're going to talk about it here in a segment coming up. In fact, next segment, we're going to talk about it. Von Miller, should he come back? He's begging to come back. Now, a couple of things while we finish up this segment. I want to get your advice on this, Sean, because you're younger, you're hipper, and you're more in tune with what's going on out on the streets.
Oh, for sure.
But we were talking about, we were talking about Burnham Yard, where it is, and James is like, it's traffic gridlock all the time. It's probably gridlocked right now. And so I had to, middle of the day on a Saturday, for no reason, it's probably gridlocked. So what's funny, I had to go after the show, I had to go up north, and so I had to go. That was supposedly the quickest way. So you pull up the map on your phone, and I took a little screenshot of, yep, it had red and yellow for whatever reason. And I thought, well, maybe it's because of the Morgan Wallen concert, but I'm like, well, that concert's not for 5 hours. Are you parking and tailgating and pre-gaming 5 hours before a concert? But it was just like James said. So I sent him a picture of it. Now, here's the thing I wanted to ask you, Sean. So what I was doing was I was going up north. I found this DeLorean. It's like a wall hanger, a door, like an actual door, like a huge door, right? That somebody had taken off the car, and they were selling it. And that stuff makes good, you hang it up in the garage or whatever. It's good wall art. This guy in his Facebook ad, his post said, hey, DeLorean door, it came off my DeLorean. I said, okay, cool. So I'm assuming this guy has a DeLorean, but I've never heard of him before. And those circles are pretty small. There's only about 20, 25 DeLoreans in this area. So I get up there, and the guy's been kind of shady the whole way. And I said, oh, so you have a DeLorean? He goes, yeah, I have a 1996. Actually, no, it's an 86 DeLorean. Well, there is no such thing as a 96 or an 86 DeLorean. They only made them from 1981 to 83. So I'm calling BS on this guy. And then I said, oh, so this came off your DeLorean? I said, well, first off, I said, where is it? He goes, oh, it's not here. It's somewhere else. I'm like, what? And then I said, so this came off your DeLorean? He's like, oh, no. This is just a wall hanger my grandpa had. So everything that this guy has advertised is false. I'm like, is this a hot piece? Is this thing stolen?
Yeah, he was definitely catfishing and trying to bait and switch a little something. I'm not for sure. But if you knew that he wasn't a part of your elitist company in the DeLorean group, then you should have checked him out. See if one of the other homies know who he is. Nobody knows who he is.
Nobody knows this guy.
Forget about him.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I got the piece. I loaded it up. I brought it home. I shined it up.
Oh, so there was a door.
Oh, it was there. Yeah. It was just nothing was adding up, but it's a great piece.
Oh,
took a hole.
Man, I take that back, listener. I'm sorry, brother.
Shined it up, but it just still didn't add up. So I'm a little worried that there's something sketchy in this transaction. All right, Tate, coming up next, I do want to have that conversation. By the way, jump on YouTube, Shop Honda chat line. We'll check in with people out there trying to get our numbers up. Management's got to know that you love the Dan Jacobs Show. One way they know that is if you jump on the Denver Sports YouTube channel during this show. Also, the RamosLaw.com text line. Coming up next, Von Miller. Bring him back or too much of a distraction? We'll get into it next.
It's the ultimate showdown for a great cause. Setting up the ultimate gold medal showdown. On June 11th, Brandon Stokely goes head-to-head with Zach By in 100 Holes for Kids. 100 holes of golf. That's where you come in. Pick your player, make your donation, and help kids win. To support Brandon Stokely, head to StokelyCares.com. To support Zach By, head to ZachCares.com.
Jacobs Law, 303-LAW-4040. 303-LAW-4040. Goods for you. Here's 3-LAW-4040. They almost feel guilty. They were hurt in an accident, and it wasn't their fault, but they're like, well, I don't want to sue people. I'm not that type of person. And they almost feel guilt over trying to call and get help, and they just don't know what to do. So that's what we're there for. In fact, I just don't know what to do. I want my name to mean something in this town. I have a reputation, and I don't want to be suing my neighbor. I said, don't worry. We're going to reach out to the insurance company. We're going to make sure they do the right thing. And we were able to get him $1.5 million, and he can still hold his head up high in the community because he didn't do anything wrong. We're here. A lot of people feel that way after an accident. You don't have to feel bad about calling 303-LAW-4040. We're just here to make sure that you get the help you need. Law 4040.
Progressive's accident response can detect and send help when you need it most after a major car accident. But other accidents, you're on your own. Like when you accidentally call your wife Mom. When you accidentally say Happy Holidays on someone's birthday. When you accidentally wave at someone you thought was waving at you. We can't help with those accidents, but Progressive's accident response provides peace of mind after major car accidents. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Limited availability in California. Driver is responsible for emergency and towing charges not covered by the policy.
This deer season, John Deere wants to give you the home field advantage. We're bringing you the best offers of the season, whether that's cash off on select new machines or a shot at the ultimate Major League Baseball prize package. Because right now, you can enter for a chance to win an MLB All-Star experience for you and 3 friends, complete with travel and lodging for All-Star Week this July. Deer season is going on now through June 3rd. Visit johndeere.com/deer season to enter and view the offers and complete contest rules. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
Hey guys, Mark Schlereth here from my friends at Spine One. Let me ask you a question. You live with back pain, neck pain. Well, my guys at Spine One, they're an emergency room for back pain with same-day appointments. They'll see you and they'll get the journey started. And that's exactly what I did. Whether it's chronic pain, acute pain, work-related, sports-related, doesn't matter. All you got to do is pick up the phone and start your journey just like I did toward pain-free. 303-367-2225. That's 303-367-BACK. Or as always, you can find them online at spineone.com.
Denver Deck Builders is the #1 deck builder in Colorado. With me is the owner, Ron Gibbous. What is the advantage in building a new deck or replacing the old one?
If you were to spend $50,000 on a deck, probably increases the home value by $25,000 to $35,000. You will get some of it back when you sell the home. But do you want to use it to spend time outside with your family, with your friends, building memories and building relationships?
Start dreaming about your outdoor living space. Denver Deck Builders. Go to ddbonthefan.com.
You could sleep through the night without thinking twice. You could take a seat in the middle of the theater. You could drive without worry of where the next restroom is. You used to say yes, and somewhere along the way, you stopped. Not because of one big moment, because of 100 small ones. A little more urgency, one more trip to the bathroom at 2 a.m., one more mental note about where the restroom is. It happened slowly enough that it just became you. But it's not you. It's enlarged prostate, and there's a treatment called aquablation therapy, the only ultrasound-guided robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Find an aquablation therapist near you. Call Aquablation Denver at 720-637-9567, 720-637-9567. That's 720-637-9567. All surgical treatments carry risks, and results may vary. Side effects may include urinary symptoms, mild pain, ejaculatory dysfunction, or infection. In rare cases, complications to the urethra and rectum may occur. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Visit aquablationdenver.com. You're listening to the Honorable Judge Dan Jacobs on Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan.
All right, Sean, I need your help on this one, too. RamosLaw.com text line. The Judge, a.k.a. Tolerable Plus. That's his nickname for me? Like Tolerable Plus, meaning you're tolerable and a little bit better than that. Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, that's backhanded all the way.
That's Zach Baez-ism right there?
Yeah, it's backhanded.
The Judge, a.k.a. Tolerable Plus, listening from FOCO, finishing up some errands in the car. Keep up the good work. Enjoy the show. Why don't you incorporate some callers? Your old school talk radio, FOCO Tommy. Now, Tommy, are you listening on KARS? I am, because I'm looking to see as we get more and more on that station at Laramie and Fort Collins, like how many more. I welcome you guys. I'm a former Larimer County guy myself, by the way.
That makes 2 of us, 3 of us.
Yeah, that's right, because we talked about that, but I was a public defender up there. Nice town. Trying to see which been up here forever. So anyway, thanks for checking in, FOCO Tommy. Callers, they're just kind of a thing of the past.
But you know what's crazy, though, Dan? Like, on my way up there to Cheyenne week in and week out, I would listen to the fan on my way out most mornings, and right around after Fort Collins is when right before Fort Collins is where things get a little shaky as far as the broadband. So being that we're stretched out up north now, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and that's what I told the guy. I said, you're in Windsor. You probably don't have a problem getting in Windsor. I said, I don't know about the signal in Fort Collins. It's probably, it's the same thing with Colorado Springs. You can get it somewhere in Colorado Springs, but not everywhere. We probably ought to add an affiliate in Colorado Springs as well. And Pueblo. We need to take over the state. So we were talking about this Von Miller thing. I was listening to the morning show and the drive. So the drive yesterday was talking about it, and it was interesting. The takes... Philip Lindsay was all in favor of it. He said, oh, yeah. Because Von Miller, very vocal, he wants to come back to the Denver Broncos. And he says, why get off the plane here? It feels like home. I'm like, well, then why don't you live here, man? I was always I guess not stunned by it, but like always like impressed by the fact that there were so many players that would come here as free agents in various sports, and then they would stay. And a lot of times, else, fine, but we're staying here in the Mile High City. Like, so people really love it here. Von Miller has not chosen to stay here, and that was never really any secret. I think it was pretty open. It's like, I'm going to go back to Texas. He likes it better there. Why isn't he your home? But anyway, yeah, he obviously wants another payday. He could have some fun here. And they brought up on the show yesterday, he had 9 sacks last year. So there were basically 2 different takes on it. Like Zach was saying, dude, no way. It's fun to talk about, but that ship has sailed. That is so far gone. He'd be a distraction. He wasn't a leader. And there was almost like this, I don't want to put words in their mouth, almost this undercurrent that now that Vaughn's gone, it was kind of a widely known secret if you were in, was actually causing more problems behind the scene than the public knew about, and they don't really want to welcome that back in. Why would they want to? They've got a good chemistry right now. Why would they?
Nuggets, repurposing the tread on the tires of Carmelo Anthony before he retires.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of, obviously the ship has sailed. Let Vaughn go off into the sunset. If he had the world as his oyster in Denver, Colorado once upon a time, I think that's what he's expecting. Absolutely.
Is there any such thing? So what we've been talking about was, hey, dude, they got Jonathan Cooper. They don't even know what they're going to do with Luther Ellis because they got to move him around. They just got too much. They've got, obviously, Nick Benito. They've got too much already. Probably only come in on third downs, but then what are you going to do? You're going to sit down Jonathan Cooper? Are you going to sit down Nick Benito on third downs? Like, where would he fit, even though he did have 9 sacks last year? He would obviously just be a third down specialist. But is there a such thing as things off the field? But I mean, he's not like Pac-Man Jones or like some real problematic guy where every time you turn around he's doing something egregious. He's had some problems at home, and early in his career he had problems with the substance abuse policy. But that's Walton Penner Group has owned the team. They've had 0 players with off the field troubles. Well, that's probably true that we know about, but that may not be a policy that they're, because is that, Sean, you've been a professional athlete, you've played pro football. Is that a prerequisite for having a talented football team? It seems to me that teams will make it work because the talent outweighs the distraction. For crying out loud, Michael outweighed the distraction. Colin Kaepernick's talent didn't outweigh the distraction. Von Miller, at this stage in his career, I don't know that he would be that big of a distraction. If anything, he might take pressure off.
You have to go to a party to know about how Von Miller is.
Well, because he said he always had his teammates' back. And I was like, well, wait a minute. What about Chad Kelly? He didn't have Chad Kelly's back.
Well, Chad Kelly didn't have his own back. He walked into somebody else's house.
Well, yeah. You want to know why?
Because he was having good time to know people. And at the time, I knew somebody that knew Demarius, and ended up like getting to hang out with Demarius for a night. Shout out to Miss Sosa, and we just really had.
Well, I don't know. That's why you brought it up.
Hey, look, man.
That's why you're here, is
Vaughn's
to enlighten us on to what that's like.
Vaughn's house was like Las Vegas, Nevada. You see and don't tell, man. I can't do any of that. That
can't give us a little taste.
Yeah.
So so my point was with Chad Kelly, the report
in the rear end, so you can never have enough depth with bringing in Von Miller. 17-game season, he's going to be necessary at one point or another.
But will he screw up what they have going on, which a tight-knit group, chemistry? Let's talk about it on the see Sean Boyd. We'll have a good time. It's the Dan Jacobs Show here on a Sunday morning. We'll talk more about Von Miller coming up next. And then also my lovely wife, Kimberly. What do you say? Bless her heart.
God bless her heart.
The Denver Sports app to enter our Day at the Lake contest for your chance to win everything you need for that perfect lake day. You get 2 paddle boards, 2 chairs, a cooler, pop-up tent, and Bluetooth speaker. Oh, and did we mention you also get a $250 gift card to fill up that cooler? Download the Denver Sports app now and enter today. We'll see you at the lake. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
DeerTrailMeatCo.com. DeerTrailMeatCo.com. Just heard the promo, Day at the Lake. They're going to give you a cooler and all that stuff. What should you put in that cooler? How about some delicious Deer Trail Meat Co. delicious burgers or steaks or sausages down at the lake on that charcoal grill? It doesn't get any better than that. And the great thing about DeerTrailMeatCo.com is you're not going to spend an arm and a leg to fill up that cooler. Even steaks are affordable. Again, you can put steaks back in your budget with the help of Deer Trail Meat Co. There's a pound for ground beef. That's what it is. That's what it costs now. $7 a pound to make hamburgers. Nope. Now with DeerTrailMeatCo.com, we're talking about up to 75% savings off what you see in the meat cases at both the warehouse and the big box stores. They'll deliver this to your front door with a money-back guarantee. Locally raised on the Valine Family Ranch in Bennett, Colorado, and then taken to the meat locker in Deer Trail. I want you to check out the website. You'll be glad you did. Bunch of cool stuff on there. DeerTrailMeatCo.com. That's DeerTrailMeatCo.com.
What's up, everybody? Cecil Lammy here for my friends Soda Diet and Nutrition.com. Listen, 5 years ago, I lost 60 pounds with soda, and I'm never going back. Haven't gained the weight back. Why? Because with soda, I learned how to eat, what to eat, and when to eat. And it's so fantastic to do weight loss the right way. There's no mystery pills. I'm not giving myself a shot, and there's no mystery chemicals that I'm putting into my body. This is knowing real food will bring you real results. And speaking of real, soda got me a real nutritionist, a personalized nutritionist that would work with me one-on-one via text when I had questions, concerned, and just sometimes straight up needed encouragement. Your weight loss journey, you've got a friend, you've got help, and that is Soda. They can be there for you just like they were there for me. I look and feel 10 years younger. I got my confidence back, and right now you can join Soda and your partner joins for free. That's 2 people, real accountability for the price of 1. Soda changed my life, and I thank them so much. SodaDietNutrition.com. Call them up 866-800-SODA because soda is state of the art.
Stoke here for ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Are you in the market for a new air conditioner? Well, hold on. You need to think about a heat pump. My team at ROX are Colorado's heat pump experts and rebate specialists. Get up to $12,000 in energy rebates and credits. These savings are incredible, but they're only available for a limited time. Only at ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair, ROX, rocks, heating and air.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit.
Hey guys, Mark Schlereth here. You can get a richer looking lawn with Rich Lawn. Using the organic-based fertilizer Rich Lawn Turf Food, you'll get greener grass and build your soil for a beautiful yard. And while you're at it, don't forget to check out Revive, the treatment to revitalize your lawn for deeper roots and deeper watering. Rich Lawn and Revive products are available at Home Depot or your local gardening center. With Rich Lawn and Revive products, you'll have your yard ready in no time.
It's the Honorable Judge Dan Jacobs on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
This Morgan? Good guess. All right, let's go out to the Shop Honda YouTube chat line. Boy, they're catching on quick on the Dan Jacobs Show. This is only our second weekend we're doing this. And they've already learned our policy on the show, which is flattery's not going to get you everywhere. Flattery will get you everywhere. At MediaCritic-QH1MW says, what's not to love about Dan T. Jacobs? Followed by Daniel Clausen 5113. Dan Jacobs is the boss, all caps, of sports radio. Well, you guys are too kind. We appreciate that. Somebody else saying been a little much for him.
Because was he also paired alongside guys like Tom Nalen? I'm drawing blanks on a couple of other.
Well, Gary Zimmerman was in the Hall of Fame.
See what I'm saying? Gary Zimmerman, did Stink even? Did he get inducted into the Hall of Fame?
No. He's not. He's not a.
Is he in the hallway of fame with the Denver Broncos?
Okay, so that's a good question. No, we've talked about this on the show. He's not in the Ring of Fame, and I think he's. See, it's very hard to qualify. How do you put a guard? How do you quantify whether a guard is worthy of the Ring of Fame? That's hard to say.
By pancakes.
Pancakes? All right. Well,
Terrell Davis, guys like that obviously had, impactful seasons running the ball. He had 2,000 yards in there, yeah?
Yes.
Oh, then, yeah, that's a hallway.
So what? But does everybody on the offensive line get in? You can't do that.
Absolutely.
I think Tom Nalen, actually, 9%.
So then Stink needs to go in the Ring of Fame.
So Stink. So, all right, who goes in first? You said Philip Lindsay gets in. Stink gets in. Who goes in first, Sean?
Now, Stink should go in the Ring of Fame.
And as Rock Hoover on, I don't know, Days of Your Lives, Guiding Light, whatever it was, as a not fake, but as a purveyor, I was going to say fake chef of green chili because he doesn't make the green chili, but as a purveyor of green chili.
He's the producer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a Hall of Fame type cat. But is he actually in the Ring of Fame based on his actual play and accolades and accomplishments? I mean, to be honest with you, he was most famous for going under the knife as much as possible and then playing, like not missing any games but getting cut up all the time. And I like the way Stokely says he's like, slare it, dude. Like he was dying to get under the knife. Like they'd be like, hey, man, we think we can ice this. And he'd be like, oh, no, man, well, let's go get a scope.
Yeah, go ahead and
tries to put himself on the stretcher and then put himself in the ambulance. Like it was kind of like what Schlereth would do. He had like 17, 18, however many surgeries. So it's a good question. If people want to weigh in on that, they are absolutely welcome to. On the Ramos Law on the RamosLaw.com. More stuff. Vaughn had more sacks than Cooper and our backups. Vaughn is no distraction. Don't disrespect Vaughn like that.
We got to put some respect on Von Miller's name here, man. If he had 9 sacks last year, which he did, because I went fact check that. With that being said, all he does is make that defensive pass rush a little bit more brolic, and you're going to need that in a 17-game season.
Yeah. Is the term "bless your heart" a Colorado one or Southern? Well, I'm pretty sure it's Southern.
Oh yeah, bless her heart.
Yeah, bless your heart. I had a situation like that with my lovely wife, Kimberly. So, Sean, a couple weekends ago, we were talking. It was last weekend. Remember, we were doing the pump-ups. We had movie clips. We were talking about the best all-time hockey movies. And my wife was watching. Makes her a little tingly now. She likes this YouTube channel. She goes to DenverSports YouTube channel, and she can see my smiling face, my handsome
What's
face.
up, Miss Kim?
And so she was listening to the show. And so she, bless her heart, she went and Googled all-time best hockey movies. And Rotten Tomatoes got her. They got her good. So my oldest daughter was staying the night, Friday night. She said, well, let's watch a movie. And she's trying to be helpful. She's like, let's give you something you can watch for the show. She says, I looked up this hockey movie, and it's the best hockey movie of all time, according to Rotten Tomatoes. It was the movie Goon. Perhaps not only the worst hockey movie of all time, but perhaps one of the worst movies of all time. It's got the guy, is his name Sean Michael Scott, something like that?
Guy
Stifler.
from American Pie.
Yeah, the guy from American Pie, Stifler. and I generally like him. He's fun to watch as an actor. He was terrible. It was horrible. The whole movie was just atrocious. It was in no way, and not only was it not realistic, like the notion of all the premises of which the hockey story was based weren't even mildly accurate. And it was horrible acting. It was a horrible storyline, horrible actors. And I'm like, why are we watching this? And we got my wife threw in the towel. She was like, yeah, that was bad. I'm like, well, why did you pick? Well, Rotten Tomatoes said it was great. I'm like, what has Rotten Tomatoes got going on out there that they would rank this movie anywhere near the top?
See, she would have probably been better off trusting her artificial intelligence, whatever it may be, on the Apple or on the Android. Movies as bad movies, but they're actually good.
Yeah.
So this was just a reverse.
Yeah. On the text line, Stink is more deserving of the Ring of Fame than Ed McCaffrey. I don't get this Ed McCaffrey deal.
Right. It was just good. He was good, but he wasn't great.
So this is how good he is. Go look up the stats.
I'm gonna have to go pull him up. Let's go there right now.
And he was like the fourth option on that offense because you had Terrell Davis, you had Rod Smith, you had Shannon Sharp, which by like somebody I'm staring at right now that was afraid to block. Like he would pancake dudes. Blocking for Terrell Davis.
I got penalties for blindside blocking guys and putting them through and driving guys to the sideline and making them feel like little babies.
I wasn't talking about you for Ring of Fame. Just by attrition, because he's been here so long. Compare Ed McCaffrey's numbers to Cortland Sutton's numbers. Ed McCaffrey as the 2 or 3 years when he was, hey, look how great I am. You got to pay me more money. I'm a star. Ed McCaffrey's better. So I don't want to hear like Ed McCaffrey wasn't that good. Like Ed McCaffrey, go ahead, Sean. Well, let's do it on the other side because we only got 30 seconds left on there. And it's like, oh, well, when Zach says that Cortland Sutton, look at his numbers, he should be in the Ring of Fame, or maybe Zach's not saying he should be in the Ring of Fame, but he's going to get taught a consideration, and he's in that conversation. Like, why is YouTube, Sean Honda YouTube chat and channel, just give us a look. If you don't like it, give us another look. Eventually you'll like us. So the Denver Sports YouTube channel, and then also on the RamosLaw.com text line. Hour number 2 of the Dan Jacobs Show coming up.
Parents, looking for a fun way to get your kid active this summer? Saturday, June 27th at Denver South High School's All-City Stadium. Your child ages 8 to 14 will learn the fundamentals of football in a safe, hands-on environment from people who played the game at the highest level. We're talking former Denver Broncos Mark Schlereth, Philip Lindsay, and Brandon Stokely, along with a trusted coaching staff from Denver South. And every dollar raised goes to Big Brothers Big Sisters of Colorado. So your family is giving back just by showing up. Sign up today at DenverSports.com/camp. That's DenverSports.com/camp.
Progressive knows it ain't easy navigating the open plains of home insurance, but there is one man who can help tame that wild herd of options. The Home Quote Explorer.
Note, Progressive's Home Quote Explorer is not a real person, but an online tool that lets you compare home insurance.
He's the type of fella who helps you decide on the right insurance, even if it ain't with him.
Again, not a person, just an online tool that helps you find great home coverage.
A real pioneer.
Okay, fine. Just do the thing. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations.
I need a little ranch, step to the ranch, come on, meet me at the ranch.
Introducing the new Chick-fil-A Jalapeno Ranch Club Sandwich. With that juicy Chick-fil-A chicken on a buttermilk ranch bun, jalapeno ranch sauce, and pickled jalapenos, it's a little ranch with a lot of kick. The new Chick-fil-A Jalapeno Ranch Club with original spicy or grilled filet. Available for a limited time only. Order ahead on the Chick-fil-A app.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way
way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Drivers who switch their home and auto with Progressive could save money and time. Other things try to do this, but they really don't. Like the touchscreen at fast food places. It's not like you save time because it takes you longer to use a touchscreen than, I don't know, someone who works there. And another thing, you'd think it would save money because they're not paying a cashier, right? But no, same price. Also, why is there an option to tip? Who am I tipping? Exactly. Anyway, even if you can't save money and time with some things, you could with a Progressive Home and Auto Bundle. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states or situations.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now it's the final days of our Everything's on Sale event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses. Our Memorial Day event ends Monday. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
What if you had the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi and the price didn't change for 5 years? Thanks to Xfinity's summer savings event, you don't have to worry about that part of your future. Now through June 15th, get gig Wi-Fi for just $50 a month for 5 years with equipment and unlimited data included. No strings, no commitments, and get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. You're guaranteed 5 years of Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi that keeps you protected online from threats. Plus, you can even try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities during the Xfinity Summer Savings event. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions applies, requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account, taxes and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply to mobile select. Xfinity Internet required, speeds vary, use of fiber, coaxial cable.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver.
You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents the Honorable Judge Dan.
'93 says, you're going to attack Judge the way you do Evans? LOL. So Mel is Mel. They're asking. So that's what I love about the YouTube chat is the listeners can go out, converse with each other as opposed to the RamosLaw.com text line. They can just send something in if we choose to read it, but they get to go out,
banter back and forth.
Talk smack.
Oh yeah,
have camaraderie or whatever. And so apparently Mel. By the way, I screwed up. I called her a. Last weekend was the first weekend of the show on YouTube. Mel's a legend, and she knows hockey and all that stuff, but it's a she. Mel is a woman.
I heard about her.
I got in trouble, and I didn't know she was like this big legend, but apparently, so Rosewood 393 says, you're going to attack the Judge the way you do Evans, laugh out loud? I'll get my popcorn ready. So, by the way, Jesse Lopez, I just love Buc-ee's.
I'm not going to lie. That place is a little overwhelming. I think there's too much to digest in one convenience store.
I will tell you this. Their barbecue is not good. They have other food that's good. I've heard like their brisket sandwiches were great. It was nasty.
Yeah, I had some chicken tenders from there. I wasn't really the most impressed. However, the fudge, that's a different story.
Is it good? I used to make that. Used to be one of my things. Like when I first got into making stuff, our family has a fudge recipe, and so I used to get down. I used to make a lot of fudge. I put like cookie dough in there. I put like fun things in there.
Cookie dough with, oh my gosh, now that sounds phenomenal. I seen a dog. One of my quarterback in high school, I was over at his house one time, and his dog ate a whole pound of fudge that his mom had on the counter. Yeah.
Did he die?
No, the dog, Haley, she still lived.
All right, good job, good job. All right, so somebody is on here saying Goon 2 was not a great movie, but Goon is an awesome movie, not Mystery Alaska. Oh, it's not Mystery Alaska, but a good, solid, funny hockey watch. No, it was terrible.
I've never seen Goon one time.
Good. You're a better man for it.
Because in present day, Goon is a little something different, but we'll leave that for another conversation.
What is? No, I want to know now.
And
what does Goon mean now?
You do not want to know. This is a family show.
Okay,
and we're going to keep it a family show.
Off air. Ed McCaffrey was never a top receiver on his team from Mike. Well, that was kind of the point, wasn't it?
Well, but let's get it. But see, here goes the counterpoint.
Okay.
Cortland Sutton is revered as the top receiver on his team up until this year when Jalen Waddle as the new addition. Now, I want to get into those stats for you really quick because I broke them down during the break here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One has a couple more seasons.
Well, let me ask you this real quick.
Go ahead.
They both have 1,100-yard seasons.
Three of them. Three. No.
They all have 3 1,000-yard seasons.
That's correct.
How many 1,200-yard seasons does Cortland Sutton have?
Oh, he was very close. He had 1.
He had 0. How many 1,300-yard seasons did he have?
Well, he had 1,100, Dan. Come on now, round up.
So is 1,200 more?
Yeah, that is more.
Okay. Is 1,300 more?
That is more.
Okay. And, well, so there you go.
Oh, Ed had 1 with nine touchdowns. Ooh,
he had 10 touchdowns.
Ooh.
He had 8 touchdowns.
Ooh.
He had 7 touchdowns. Like, he would be, if he were Cortland Sutton, he'd be trying to hold up the team for money every year because this is him being the 4th option. To go to what the texter was saying, yeah, he was never the number 1 receiver, and his stats are better than Cortland Sutton's, who is all you can eat. With Bo Nix, with Russell Wilson. Like, he got all the food at the buffet. It was all you can eat, and he could not eat as much as Ed McCaffrey, who was getting scraps.
Like, he had CTE before the CTE was a thing. And the guy, he was showing signs and symptoms of CTE before it was a thing, rather. And the guy still got up and played like nothing happened.
Yeah, he's
a tough guy.
Broke his leg on 9/11 or
last year. Ah, man, I got to go with Eddie McCaffrey, man.
I'm just looking at his before he got hurt, his best 3-game stretch as the number 3rd or 4th option on the Broncos was better than Cortland Sutton's best stretch by far.
And the problem with this argument for Cortland Sutton on Zach By's behalf.
About Cortland?
Yeah, yes, sir. We're going back and forth between these two guys dissecting them. I mean, he's had some touchdown productive seasons in there.
Well, his touchdowns are down 30% over the last 2-3 seasons.
So do you dock his pay?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Is he going to give some money back? In yards. And by the way, what else are we missing? 17-game seasons, not 16-game seasons.
Starting to look bad for Cortland all of a sudden.
I mean, I'm not killing Cortland, but if we're having the honest discussion about Ring of Fame, how is my man Ed McCaffrey, who has 2 rings and was a key part of bringing rings here, what has Cortland Sutton ever won here? He came up with people want to kill Stiddy over not getting to the Super Bowl. What about Cortland Sutton in the AFC Championship game? And key drops that would have kept drives alive. I think there was.
Yeah, and see, the problem with that is that Cortland, you're asking for more money when you have a productive season, but you haven't strung it together for 2 back-to-back seasons to show the consistency that would warrant that increase in payola.
Well, my problem was he had a big contract. He got paid at the same time as what, Dez? They got these big contracts. He got hurt. He way underperformed that contract. He was stealing Bronco money for 3-4 years. He didn't offer to give any money back. But then all of a sudden, he didn't have that great of a season. less than 800 yards that year. All of a sudden now he's becoming a malcontent over money. I have a problem with that. I just don't like it.
See, Dan, and you have every right to have that reservation, and I'm pretty sure the rest of Bronco country and under-delivered. So, like, at the same time, he overpromised and under-delivered. So, with that being said, Ed McCaffrey won 2 rings, so I believe he doesn't necessarily even have to worry about going into the Ring of Fame. I got 2 of them on my finger right now. On both my fingers, I got 2 rings. You understand what I'm saying? So Ed McCaffrey, he doesn't need the Ring of Fame.
Right.
He's one guy that doesn't need it.
It's nice to have. It's nice to have. It's nice to be recognized for what you did.
And here goes another, like, just big flex on Ed McCaffrey's part. The guy has 2 kids that are playing in the NFL, got contracts right now. One of them on a Madden cover and all.
Actually, on the morning show the other day, I know they talk about it on the station. A texter brought it up about Mark Schlereth. 99 rating on Madden. And so I Googled it because I'm like, that can't be true. He was never like.
I heard of that before.
I'd heard it, so I Googled it, and it says yes, but then I looked for the citation because I think AI to AI, and now when you do a search, like a Google search or a web search, the first thing they're giving you is the AI, summary, right? AI summary, and that may very well be wrong. But I kept having to like research it with a different browser, and it does appear that I believe Madden. That's crazy.
So with that being said, we have to put all the respect on a guy's name that even if he was a 90 overall, I mean, a golden pair of cleats, Madden, Sin 9. It's like it's a prestigious honor. So that should get, stink in the Ring of Fame just on that alone. Forget what happened in Washington. If he was a Hall of Fame, if he was a 99.
Was Von Miller ever a 99? And according to the quick search, yes, that could be flawed, but I think he was. What about Terrell Davis?
Man, I don't even think the Madden was really that big of a thing in the 90s
dude.
like
You're
that.
dating yourself. Of course it was.
No, I'm just saying as far as like the
Elway. John Elway and Peyton Manning.
I know the Sheriff was at one in his heyday for sure.
So he's ranked up there. Yes, John Elway was a 99, and then I'm sure Peyton was. So probably less than 10 players in franchise history that were ever a 99 in Madden.
Those guys all have to go into the Ring of Fame. If John Lynch is in the Denver Broncos,
you go again. There you go again, Senator.
I'm on that. If he is in the Ring of Fame, then a guy like Peyton Manning has to go in the Ring of Fame. Mark Schlereth has to go in the Ring of Fame.
Well, Peyton Manning's in.
Okay.
But Ed McCaffrey's not in. Mark Schlereth's not in.
Put guys in like Peyton Manning. He shouldn't be in before Ed McCaffrey. No way, no how. I think that's utter disrespect, regardless of the one.
Nah, you're going too far with
Listen, Peyton definitely rejuvenized this franchise. Ed McCaffrey, undefeated in Super Bowls, right, with the Denver Broncos. We got to weigh the risk versus the reward here.
And that was something actually I was thinking about this week. A good analogy for what we're dealing with the Avs and Nuggets was akin to followed by just inexplicable playoff humiliations. Well, what did we see here with the Nuggets this year? Great team, best roster they've ever had in team history. They got potentially everyone wants to say Nikola Jokic robbed of another MVP. Maybe something hip like all hat no cattle, something along those lines.
Oh man, this is gonna sound crazy. All brains, no brass.
Game against the Seahawks.
So basically, don't give the star player full autonomy over your franchise. Essentially, is what you're saying.
Well, or don't go for the flash. Go for the substance.
So Russell
go for the
Wilson,
steak, not the sizzle. So what did they do? What they did was they finally John Elway famously went into the locker room and started screaming, and he's tired of winning regular season offensive awards and getting embarrassed in the playoffs. His ego took over as a competitor, and what did they do? They shifted. They started to minimize. The defense came alive with one of the best performances in playoff runs in NFL history, which is kind of funny. We were talking about earlier about, the Broncos don't get in trouble under the Walton Penner group. I used to do shows. Remember we used to hate on the radio Oh, they're dirty. They're
Hating on the
slimy.
Raiders.
That's who the Broncos were. Nobody wants to admit that now, but that's what the no-fly zone defense was. They were nasty. They'd hit you late.
Snatching people's chains off.
Snatching people's chains. Trouble in the and mean. Do you want that? Or do you want it like the Walton Penner group? No, we want good guys in the community that we can walk around with our heads held high. We can be proud. And maybe we win a championship, maybe we don't.
So you want a team full of Justin Simmons type of archetypes.
Yeah, well, what did they ever win with Justin Simmons?
I mean, well, nothing. But, but here goes the thing. I just seen a guy on the text line, or this person on the text line, rather, say, if Washington didn't want Von Miller back, what makes the Denver Broncos be willing to take Von Miller
one,
back?
Nostalgia. 2, it could help with sales. And then 3, the Commanders are – with the Broncos, he's coming in – to fill a specific role, situational pass rusher, designated hitter. And what he's saying is, if you actually listen to what he's saying is, I'll be almost like a DeMarcus Ware type, like a coach on the field, right? Remember DeMarcus Ware came in towards the end of his career.
He got Vaughn right.
He helped get Vaughn right.
Get his mind
He's
right.
like, let me return the favor. Let me coach up these guys. Now, if you listen to the other shows on the station, what they believe is Vaughn's not that guy. Like, he's not a guy, a high-character guy that you bring in to coach up the youngsters. In fact, he's hanging out with guys like Sean Boyd, and you got to be careful because he's teaching them bad habits.
Well, but he's not going to do that this time around because he's going to be more mature. He's been around the NFL, Dan. He went to Buffalo. He didn't get cut from Buffalo. He just didn't get re-upped in Buffalo. Same thing that applies in Washington. He didn't get cut. He had 9 sacks. He was very productive. You need a guy like that to kind of give Benito a little bit more substance because I think right now he lacks substance. He may be a heck of a pass rusher, but there's no flash there. And then when the moments come down, when it comes down to the clutch moments, you're looking at John Franklin Myers to give Nick Benito some help. Von Miller didn't need help when he was going crazy.
He didn't need help. He had a whole lot of help.
Well, I'm saying, DeMarcus Ware, he applied some pressure, but the guy that was, stirring the drink was Von Miller. He was the straw.
Well, one, he had some help in that for some reason officials didn't want to call offsides on him.
Wolf.
He jumped early. He had Derek Wolf. He had the no-fly. Biggest of all was the no-fly zone, locking it down behind him.
Man, come on, man. The DBs are going to get beat for plays all the time. They had to play dirty. You had undersized safeties in T.J. Ward and those guys, Stewart. Those guys were good hitters, but they were deceptible in pass coverage.
It was a great defense. Fantastic, and they won a championship off the backs of that defense. You can't.
I just have to diminish just a tad.
You can't diminish it.
As a Raider, I'm just gonna take a notch out of all that feather in the cap that you're trying to put over there.
Man, they got the ring. They ruined Cam Newton forever.
Von Miller ruined Cam Newton.
Yeah, the whole defense. No, man, you can't take away from the Super Bowl 50 defense. So my point was, they made a change. The Broncos said. John Elway in particular said, it's great, I love offense, but this is not sustainable. We get into the playoffs and we get whipped. We get beaten. Think about why they lost to the Ravens. They lost to the Ravens off a Peyton Manning overtime interception. Nobody wants to talk about that. They want to blame Moore. Is it Morris Moore? I can't remember his name.
Yeah, Raheem Moore let the guy get behind him.
Okay.
Jacoby got
but
behind him.
That was not a walk-off. They continued playing after that. In fact, John Fox time, and the Ravens were like, we all we have to do is ground and pound and punt because they're going to make a mistake. They knew Peyton Manning would make a mistake, and he did. But nobody ever brings that up. It was not a walk-off play, and the Ravens just won the game. It went into overtime, and Peyton Manning
wasn't going to be here for his arm and his throwing power.
Of course they did.
It was his accuracy.
But they said, we can't win this way. And yet here we are, exact same situation with the care if we give up 130 points a night. We just want to score 132. Do you think you're going to win championships? Did you see the two teams playing last night? Do you think you're ever going to get past those quality of teams playing that way anymore? No. Colorado official yet. And a lot of stuff can happen in the offseason, but every day that goes by, now there is one thing. We haven't heard an announcement, so that gives you a little, I don't want to say hope, because I'm not hoping that Jared Bednar gets fired, but as an change in philosophy, you cannot win, and the Avalanche have proven that the way they play. They are too soft. They need a change. Just like the Broncos were too soft when it came to playoff football. It's a totally different beast. Same thing with the Nuggets. I can't even explain how it's hard to decide which one is more embarrassing. The Nuggets, with one of the best players, if not the best player on the planet, they didn't have their second best scorer, maybe not their third or fourth best shooter scorer. They were decimated. And it wasn't like, well, it was a fluke that happened in one game. The Nuggets it was a fluke and they got beat. The Nuggets 20-point lead in Game 7. Year before that, they got literally humiliated in Game 6 and Game 7 by the T-Wolves. This is what they do. This ain't working. Fired the coach, brought in Kubiak, and they said, Payton, we love you, but you ain't running the show around here anymore. The sheriff, you're now the deputy. PDM.
You demote Payton
Deputy Manning. Because that's what they had to do.
Or Nikola Jokic. Which one of those guys gets demoted?
Well, they're not getting demoted.
No, which one would you demote going into the 2026-27
Well, I'm not demoting.
season?
Obviously, I'm not demoting either one of those guys, but probably. Let's talk about it.
Come on, Dan. Don't do me
How
like
do
that.
you get better? Because this is going to be your legacy. This is going to be Nathan McKinnon's legacy, and it's going to be Nikola Jokic's legacy. We've talked about this for a month now on this show, or at least 2 or 3 weeks. There are no players the caliber of Nikola Jokic and Nathan McKinnon that only have one championship. I'm tired of hiding behind this excuse. Well, championships are hard. Top 10 all-time NBA players that are, or NHL players that are considered the best in the league. Slight glimmer of hope for the Avalanche. But that's just naked optimism. There's no rational logic in one's brain that says, well, they can just run it back. They'll be fine.
So
because they're not.
So now you got to choose which one of these two superstar players gets their stronghold on the franchise just taken back, just a taste.
I'll tell you. Coming up next.
It's the ultimate showdown for a great cause.
Setting up the ultimate gold medal showdown.
On June 11th, Brandon Stokely goes head-to-head with Zach By in 100 Holes for Kids. 100 holes of golf. It's a one-day event all to raise money for Recruiting Classroom, whose mission it is to help kids play sports. Who will raise the most? That's where you come in. Pick your player, make your donation, and help kids win. To support Brandon Stokely, head to StokelyCares.com. To support Zach By, head to ZachCares.com.
Jacob's Law, 303-LAW-4040, 303-LAW-4040. You know I give those big made-for-TV lawyers a hard time with their gimmicks. We win! We're different! Everyone knows you should call me! And then here's what happens in reality. We had a client come through a referral, by the way. He didn't know who the Dan Jacobs Show was or anything like that, so he signed up with one of the big made-for-TV lawyers. They took his case. He was not at fault. And then the insurance company said, though, yeah, no, we're not going to pay. We're just going to deny the claim. Not a nickel. Not even going to argue with you and negotiate with you, not a dime. And so somebody said, you need to call. Somebody that cared about this person said, you need to call Dan and his lovely wife, Kimberly, at 303-LAW-4040. We took the case. We looked at the same stuff that the big made-for-TV lawyer was looking at, and we called the bluff of the insurance company. We said, yeah, we looked at your denial. It's BS. And you know what they did? They said, you're right. Here's the maximum limits of the policy. Here's $25,000 that this young man would have not gotten had he stuck with the made-for-TV lawyer. We'll be here for you. We're here to help you get feeling better and to get you compensated for what the other person put you through and to make the insurance companies do what's fair and what's right. Save that number on your phone. I hope you never need it, but you never know. Accidents do happen. It's 303-LAW-4040.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The playoffs are full of surprises. Underdogs, overtime thrillers, sudden upsets. But when it comes to your facility's electrical systems, you don't want surprises. For over 40 years, Piper Electric has powered complex commercial and industrial projects. From large-scale distribution to fire alarms and preventative maintenance, their licensed electricians help reduce downtime, control cost, and keep operations running smoothly. Got a project coming up? Don't leave it to chance. Include Piper Electric in your bid process. Visit piperelectric.com.
Hey guys, Mark Schlereth here from my friends at Spine One. Let me ask you a question. You live with back pain, neck pain? Well, my guys at Spine One, they're an emergency room for back pain with same-day appointments. They'll see you and they'll get the journey started. And that's exactly what I did. Whether it's chronic pain, acute pain, work-related, sports-related, doesn't matter. All you got to do is pick up the phone and start your journey just like I did toward pain-free. 303-367-2225. That's 303-367-BACK. Or as always, you can find them online at spineone.com.
Flatland Cavalry. Shane Smith and the Saints. Fiddler's Green Amphitheater, Saturday, June 20th. Get your tickets now at AXS.com.
Stoke here for ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Are you in the market for a new air conditioner? Well, hold on. You need to think about a heat pump. My team at ROX are Colorado's heat pump experts and rebate specialists. Get up to $12,000 in energy rebates and credits. These savings are incredible, but they're only available for a limited time. Only at ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX rocks heating and air.
Every hunt tells a story. Let Ties Taxidermy in Loveland bring yours back to life. Big game, birds, fish skin mounts, and reproduction. Expert detail since 2001. Call 970-669-1119 or visit tiestaxidermy.com.
You're listening to the Honorable Judge Dan Jacobs on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Taking a shot at me because I grew up loving the Dan Marino Dolphins. But yeah, they broke our hearts every year. Now, I will say this. I don't want to hear about Peyton Manning over Dan Marino. Go look at what Dan Marino was doing at a time when you could absolutely mug, particularly in the playoffs, wide receivers. And that was one of the reasons why they kind of came up short. But Dan Marino is the greatest passing quarterback in the history of the NFL, and it's not even close. Don't give me Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers. See, they had to change the game. Peyton Manning, brilliant mind, all-time great quarterback, not the quarterback that Dan Marino was. Dan Marino found a way to do it in an era. This was an era before. They literally changed the rules. For those of you that don't remember, because they had this marquee matchup, right? They had Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning every year, and Bill Belichick knew we can just rough year, but Belichick came up with a game plan and just out-physicaled, mugged, and beat up the Colts, and it was hard to watch. Even I'm not a Colts fan. I enjoy every year. And then he had the famous, I'm trying not to be a bad teammate, but we had protection issues. Blame his offensive line. He couldn't get it done, so they literally changed the rules of the game. So they could, just like they've done in the NBA, right? So that their stars can actually hack it. Like in the NBA, they had to just basically get rid of traveling. We got to let them travel and carry the ball like a football. Okay. Why? So they literally had to do that for Peyton Manning. But nobody had the type of numbers in an era where it was much more difficult. Never had Terrell Davis and a 99 rated Mark Schlereth on Madden and all the Hall of Famers and fantastically great players. I mean, those, in hindsight, we look back and we're like, wow, I didn't have that. And so but you're right. He is not considered now, with this new era, he's not considered. Joe Montana came out and said, talk about the greatest quarterback. He didn't have a championship. Just like now with Nikola Jokic, what we've been watching has been so fantastic, and people want to believe it's a foregone conclusion that he's a top 10 player, and maybe he's knocking on the door of the top 5 right now, but history's not going to bear that out. This is the first time he looked human. It was almost like those old Johnny Unitas clips or, the documentaries where it goes, the old voice guy's like, and there was no more magic left in Johnny Unitas's arm.
Yeah, I think that's where Jokic.
First night, during his heyday, his great run, he would take these off-balance, weird looping, hook shots or up rainbow shots. He would take these crazy shots and they'd go in, and you're like, well, that's Nikola. He tried the exact same shots. He was getting the exact same. Just came through the T-Wolves. So if this is the way it plays out, I like the way Chad Andrus said it. He said the first Nikola Jokic era is over. It's done. And there was one ring. The question is, will there be a second? That's the question. I don't see it. I don't see it. The sad thing is, and that's what I was thinking about last night. The Thunder won one championship. They're done. The Celtics had one. They're done. This isn't like be right now. Every year it's somebody different. Maybe that changes. Wembanyama, if he his size to be able to stay healthy for long stretch.
Maybe even Rudy Gobert for that matter. And other alike big men around the league, they evolutionized their game just a little bit. And Nikola Jokic, we haven't seen any real evolution.
Oh, stop.
To get better, man.
No, you did this the other day. You're like, he needs to lift weights and this and that. That's not who he is, but he's a one of one. I'm not going to go that far. I'm not going to follow you over the cliff, Sean.
No, I mean, I'm already.
You want him to come in all jacked and ripped up and being pushing guys around and. Nah, man, that's just not his game. You take away, not everybody's like that, man.
Well, I mean,
there's different types of body types.
This guy jumps off the ground and he probably gets up maybe 2 inches at that.
Yeah, he doesn't have to.
He needs to.
He doesn't need to.
Because here's the thing, guys like Wembanyama, these guys 7'3", 7'4", like Jokic, you're not those little weak tactics that he be doing to get towards the rim. It's not gonna work.
Well, you know what he'll say to you? Did you see the last time Wembanyama?
Today, Dan, and he was very lucky and fortunate on that shot.
On the RamosLaw.com text line, no one benches Peyton Manning in a playoff game. That DeLorean has made your brain soft. You tell me. Go back and watch the Super Bowl. He couldn't come back and get the championship, which they did. But anybody in their right mind, if it wasn't Peyton Manning, if it was Jeff Hostetler or Jared Stidham or Brad Johnson or any regular run-of-the-mill quarterback. You're right. I'm not disagreeing with you. It would have been hard, but they were in a position. I mean, it was a close game. What do? You're Gary Kubiak. You're like, well, it's Peyton Manning. I can't bench Peyton Manning, but you had a duty to the team to bench Peyton Manning. Osweiler on the bench, who had just gone 5-2. I'm not saying he's better than Peyton Manning. I'm saying he had better physical ability at that point in time. That's what I'm saying. But I'm not arguing with you, Texter. Spurs could be with that young group. Yeah, they could be the dynasty. You're right. Put Elway in Miami and Marino in Denver those years, those numbers more than flip in Elway's favor. That's absurd.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Okay, I want you to make a list, Texter, of the most absurd, crazy things that make no sense in your entire life. Absolutely ridiculous. Have you ever heard of Connor McDavid? Most people believe he's the best player in this era. 0 championship appearances. Yeah, that's going to be his legacy too. In fact, that's why they give Nathan MacKinnon the nod. They say Nathan MacKinnon's the best player on the planet. I hate to admit it, but he is. It's not even close. He is.
That's a big indictment.
Yeah.
That's a big
when
indictment.
I have haters saying, I love to hate, but I can't hate on that. All right, coming up next, there is an update from yesterday's show I want to get to, and maybe it's a little bit of good news for Broncos fans. We'll get into that next.
Summer is calling, and we're sending you to the lake in style. Download the Denver Sports app to enter our Day at the Lake contest for your chance to win everything you need for that perfect lake day. You get 2 paddle boards, 2 chairs, a cooler, pop-up tent, and Bluetooth speaker. Oh, and did we mention you also get a $250 gift card to fill up that cooler? Download the Denver Sports app now and enter today. We'll see you at the lake. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
DeerTrailMeatCo.com, DeerTrailMeatCo.com. It's funny, we keep doing these spots right after our Day at the Lake spot. What's better than a day at the lake with your free cooler filled full of delicious beef and pork? It's fantastic, and that's what you want to do. You want to get DeerTrailMeatCo.com in your lives because what they do is they make it possible again. Right now, beef prices have gone through the roof. They've quadrupled over what they were just a few years ago. So you can't even, for most people, steak is not even an option. Because $25, $30 a pound, forget it. You need 3-4 pounds to feed an entire family. It's just not going to happen. But with DeerTrailMeatCo.com, what they do is they raise the beef locally. It doesn't have all those hormones that the big corporate ranchers and farms have. It's good Colorado farm to table freshness, goodness, delivered right to your front door. The grocery store, at the warehouse stores. I want you to check them out. They got YouTube videos. They got cutting tools to show you how you bundle your stuff. Go check them out. It's DeerTrailMeatCo.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Will?
When I was 50, my whole life fell apart. I lost my job, I lost my wife, I lost the house, I lost pretty much everything except for my life. When the IRS came calling, I just didn't have it in me. I felt like Wile E. Coyote, just waiting for that IRS anvil to drop.
Then Will found tax relief advocates.
I heard their advertisement on the radio, I wrote down the number, and I made the call that changed everything. The IRS gave me a bill for $40,000. Tax Relief Advocates got that down to $3,200. I've paid 9 cents on the dollar. Now that's a great deal in anybody's book.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Will did and call TRA for a consultation.
But for me, the real win is I got my life back.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-488-2578. 800-488-2578. That's 800-488-2578.
Getting a little older doesn't have to mean, well, getting older. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic. And if you're feeling low energy, can't sleep, can't lose weight, are struggling with brain fog, or your sex drive is off, it's time to change it up. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, our advanced medical strategies featuring TRT, GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more treat low T and other hormonal issues to help you shed pounds, have more energy, enhance your body composition, improve sleep, increase your sex drive, and so much more. Getting you back in the game again. So don't be older. Be stronger in the gym. Be sharper at work. Be better in the bedroom, and be more confident in every part of your life. So call us today and find out how our advanced treatment strategies could change the game for you. Your first visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on one of our advanced treatment plans on the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
What if you had the most reliable, fiber-powered Wi-Fi and the price didn't change for 5 years? Thanks to Xfinity's summer savings event, you don't have to worry about that part of your future. Now through June 15th, get gig Wi-Fi for just $50 a month for 5 years with equipment and unlimited data included. No strings, no commitments, and get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. You're guaranteed 5 years of Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi that keeps you protected online from threats. Plus, you can even try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities during the Xfinity Summer Savings Event. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions applies, requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account, taxes and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply to Mobile Select. Xfinity Internet required. Speeds vary. Use of fiber, coaxial cable.
It's the Honorable Judge Dan Jacobs on Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan.
I almost forgot, Sean Boyd. We have a hot new segment here on the Dan Jacobs Show. Lay it on us.
All right, Dan. Well, we're going to get into this. This is what we call Order in the Court with the Judge, Dan Jacobs. Okay?
All right. Order in the court.
With Judge Jacobs. All right. So, Dan, court is officially in session, so adjust the robes. Your first case on the docket today is the state of Colorado versus Jared Bednar. Now, the charge. Your Honor, we watched the Avs scratch and claw through the Western Conference Finals series against Vegas, but when Cale Makar went down, Coach Bednar threw his lines into a literal blender, dropping Ross Colton to the third line and separating the chemistry that got them deep into the playoffs. The prosecution argues this was panic. Now, the defense argues it was necessary tactical adjustments against John Tortorella's heavy forecheck. Now, Dan, Judge Jacobs, that is, looking at the evidence, how do you rule on Bednar's line blending, and is he guilty or overcoaching, or do we acquit him because he
didn't do anything? He just sat there with his hands in his pockets, mean mugging the whole time. If you believe James Merlett, going off the way the distinguished counsels just laid it out, I would say whatever he's guilty of not making the right adjustments, I understand why, but he's guilty of being an incompetent coach, sadly, and I've already got a sentence for him. I'm sentencing him to 52 weeks of haircuts at the local barber so he can keep that GQ underwear model due off our television screens, and he can keep it high and tight. So at the very least, because it looks like he's going to hold on to his job inexplicably, at the least he can get a haircut. So ordered.
All right, Dan. Now, the text line, the Ramos Law text line is completely divided on this. Now, the regular season wrapped up, and the playoffs are moving on without Denver going into the NBA Finals. My question to you is, now, Denver and now the Nuggets are now staring at their directly second luxury tax apron. The defense says, hey, the Cronkies are the best owners in sports. Look at the championships. But the prosecution over here says, if you don't pay Payton Watson, you let depth walk out the door again. Over DenverSports, Judge Jacobs, do you force the front office to pay the tax and enter the apron, or are you ruling in favor of fiscal conservative ownership?
You know, I can't believe I'm saying this because I don't think anybody's been as objectively critical of the Cronkies than me. I've consistently been trying to hold them accountable. And it is a laughable notion, but some people do say, yeah, they're the best owners in sports. To $225 million. By the way, this notion that's a foregone conclusion that Payton Watson is some sort of missing ingredient, okay, that's what people thought last year about Christian Brown. The guy's had 3/4 of one good season in his entire career. He's been in the league 4 years. He's had one good season, but look at his numbers. We're talking like 14 points a game. Okay, plays defense. Allegedly. He's not going to make this team on his own back a NBA championship winning team. Now, I will say this, though. The Rockies didn't make this decision. No fire and get embarrassed in the first round of the playoffs. What person in their right mind would say, oh, yeah, that's a team that I'm going to invest almost $250 million of dead money? No way. Even the Cronkies, I will defend on this.
Now, our final case before we recess for a commercial break. Judge, we have a warrant out for head coach Sean Payton. The charge is grand theft asset, okay? We are Jalen Waddle, and instead stood pat. The fan base is demanding to know if the rookie class is going to yield immediate dividends completely unprotected for the 2026 season. So, give us the verdict, Dan. Are you buying what Payton cooked up in the draft, or is the jury still out?
Well, the jury's always going to still be out on a draft class, but that wasn't their strategy. They weren't relying on unproven players to come in and take them to the next level. They had a couple nice pieces. We'll see if they work out. They had a Jalen Waddle, and they said, we were the number 1 seed in the AFC, and but for an injury to our franchise quarterback, we would have been in the Super Bowl, possibly winning the Super Bowl. So that's what we're going to invest in, and we're going to add a very dynamic piece in Jalen Waddle, and we're going to bring back J.K. Dobbins. So no, all hail Sean Payton, the leader of the resurrection of our proud franchise, the Denver Broncos.
All right, Dan. Well, the evidence has been submitted to the court. How does the court rule in today's proceedings?
Well, the court rules, I guess, that Jared Bednar must get a haircut, Sean Payton must be praised, and the Cronkies get to save a nickel or two, or $250 million or two. So that's how we rule. Thank you, Sean. Good job. Lots of prep went into that. You know what I do want to do also? I've been kicking this around for years. Because for example, 303 Law 4040. And this has been going on for years after years. I'm almost like a priest. Like, people call me it's a weird phenomenon because I still don't even feel like a full grown-up. But people, they call me for advice. And so I was wondering if we shouldn't do a segment called, like my buddy Benny Bash used to do on his show. It's called I Judge You. And you could submit your story with your your significant other or your buddy, you got a bet or something like that, like a dispute amongst you and another person or another group of people. And you guys can each give your facts for the side of the case. And I will rule. I will give a verdict, a definitive ruling.
You have to.
Yeah. So I would also like to do that. But for that to happen, we'd have to have people send in stories, and they'd have to be committed to being a part of the show.
So, folks, you heard it here, man. Send them stories in. Let's let Dan rule over these proceedings, and let's see what we can come up with.
Yeah. All right. So 2 hours down. Now, what I want to get into first part of next hours is because we did some research at the end of the show yesterday, and we just didn't have enough time to figure it out. Conflicting evidence. So we were talking about, the word came down this week, and it's essentially official. The parties agreed in terms on selling. Along with that, it's probably going to mean personal seat licenses for the tens of thousands of loyal Broncos season ticket holders. They're going to be asked for this new stadium to now pay for some debate about how fans will be able to pay for that. I'd done some research before and come up with one understanding. Joe did a quick AI search yesterday, and it came up with a different understanding. So I did some research before the show.
We the Fans' third annual Be a Mentor, Be a Fan Youth Football Camp is back. Brought to you by Walmart. Saturday, June 27th at Denver South High School's All-City Stadium. Your child, ages 8 to 14, will learn the fundamentals of football in a safe, hands-on environment from people who played the game at the highest level. We're talking former Denver Broncos Mark Schlereth, Philip Lindsay, and Brandon Stokely, along with a trusted coaching staff from Denver South. And Every dollar raised goes to Big Brothers Big Sisters of Colorado, so your family is giving back just by showing up. Sign up today at DenverSports.com/camp. That's DenverSports.com/camp.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
If you're practicing real estate in Denver but still not getting the results you want, listen up. Agents who are winning in this market aren't guessing. They've got the right training, the right systems, and the right support. And that's exactly what you get at Weichert Realtors Professionals. Proven strategies to win more listings, technology that keeps you connected anywhere, and coaching that actually helps you close. Take your business to the next level. Call Tim Davis at Weichert Realtors Professionals at 303-302-4000. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
Hey, Stoke here for ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Summer is coming in hot. Don't wait. Beat the rush with an early bird cooling system tune-up and inspection for only $49 from Rocks Heating and Air. They'll inspect your system and keep you cool when everyone else is scrambling. Call ROX Rocks Heating and Air today and schedule your tune-up before the end of May. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX Rocks Heating and Air.
If you've ever been in their care, you know the difference they make. We call them nurses, also known as heroes. This is Jay Rickstrew for Alpine Bank, member FDIC. National Nurses Day falls in May. Pause for a moment. They may have been by your side at one point, or with a loved one during an uncertain time. Give thanks for those men and women who work tirelessly, tending to every detail. Small to life-saving. How? A handwritten card will be cherished. Coffee or treats, a thoughtful gesture. You can log on to daisyfoundation.org to nominate a nurse for exceptional care. To the nurses listening to Alpine Bank now, your commitment to helping others has our deepest respect and appreciation. We think of you as heroes. Alpine Bank, committed to Colorado and you.
What if you had the most reliable, fiber-powered Wi-Fi and the price didn't change for 5 years thanks to Xfinity's summer savings event? You don't have to worry about that part of your future. Now through June 15th, get gig Wi-Fi for just $50 a month for 5 years with equipment and unlimited data included. No strings, no commitments, and get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. You're guaranteed 5 years of Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi that keeps you protected online from threats. Plus, you can even try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities during the Xfinity Summer Savings Event. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions applies, requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account, taxes and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply to mobile select. Xfinity internet required, speeds vary, use of fiber, coaxial cable.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents the Honorable Judge Dan Jacobs.
All right. Final hour of the Dan Jacobs Show. I wanted to get into this. So we were talking about the PSLs yesterday. In fact, we'll go out to the RamosLaw.com text line. Brian from Nebraska says, yesterday someone said you sound like an elitist, Dan. I must disagree with this assessment. An elitist sets up a nonprofit that helps others strictly because they want a tax write-off. You, Dan, are in the trenches doing the hard work serving the community. I admire this very much, and it's a clear indication that you are not, in fact, an elitist. Well, I felt bad because one of my goals the last couple of years has been, and I think I will make myself do it this year, is to actually set up a nonprofit. Because what I want to do, and it's not for, I mean, obviously, I won't say no to the tax break, but it's more about, I want to set up a nonprofit in remembrance of my nephew, who we actually used to do fundraisers in his honor here on the station many, many years ago. Raised $100,000 in one day. It was really cool. A lot of celebrities. John Lynch chipped in. You hear me? Sean Boyd. John Lynch was fantastic to work with on the charity stuff. But anyway, I do want to do that because here's why I want to do it. Is because right now, if you give money to a charity, and there are so many deserving charities, and it's up to them to decide how to help people. And we run along people in lives sometimes that they need some help, and you want to be able to help them, and you don't know how to do it. And I would love to have just the ability to have a organization that says, you know, when you need help, I don't need to tell you to go to the church or to go meet you where you're at and help you with that need and get them what they need, whether that be a place to stay, a car, a meal, or whatever. Like, we have to have the flexibility to help people where they are and not have to be reliant on, well, what I'm going to do is not for just the tax breaks, but just because that's always been kind of a dream of mine, is to be able to have the flexibility to help people where they are without having to rely on some charity to get it done. So I do want to do that. But I appreciate that. So here's why they call holders. Most people as successful as you sit in the suites. Mike. So Mike maybe was the one, whoever did it yesterday, they called me an elitist, but they weren't being mean about it. I just didn't understand why they were saying it in context to anything I said yesterday. Are in the suites. Heck, they're on the billboard, right? There's an official injury lawyer of the Denver Broncos. Yeah, I don't have that type of money. You're confusing me with these guys that pay. I'm in the trenches. I'm a public servant.
That's right.
Public servant. So yeah, I mean, I'm blessed and all that stuff, but no, I'm not throwing around bundles of cash or anything like that. But so I just don't understand why whoever said it, because all I said was, and Sean, I'd like to get your reporting. He's ran into somebody behind the scenes. I won't get into all the details, but told him that's how they're going to finance a big part of this. And I was reading actually before the show, one of the reasons NFL owners love PSLs is they get to keep all that money. No revenue share. Like I guess season tickets and stuff like that goes into a pool, and they have to give up a third of that to other NFL owners, and then they in turn get a check back from the pool as well, or whatever, however that works. PSL money is all into the pocket of the owner. And the only thing I said yesterday that I guess somebody could construe as being elitist was I said, I believe my season tickets, which are good seats, they're less than $5,000, are a totally fair price from the Denver Broncos. Maybe that made me sound elitist. Or I also said that if the PSL's time, you can stomach that. You can live with that. But if they're going to be 15 or 25 or 150,000 per ticket, that's not palatable. That's not reasonable. So those are the only two things I said that involved money whatsoever. And I don't think, Sean, it's an elitist thing to say.
I think that it could be in the form that those people aren't necessarily spending that type of money respectfully. So to them, it might rub them the wrong way that you are even mentioning the PSLs with your seats, right? The pricing is secured. So
well, hold on. Well, the pricing I don't think is secured. The option.
The option is secured.
Is secured. However, the Broncos have had season ticket holders since 1960 or whatever, whenever they started. They've always had that right. They've always had the opportunity to renew their season tickets, and they didn't have to pay a PSL to get that.
See, I feel like those folks that have that are that long in the tooth, that have maybe passed down those seats and et cetera, it's not like you're trying to be an elitist. Those folks are just an elitist on their own.
My seats cost. So if I said to you, Sean, I've got a pair of Raiders tickets, 15 rows up.
I'm turning them down.
$5,000.
Yeah, I'd rather be at home watching.
Well, then that's a different thing. If you wanted to be a season ticket holder,
yeah,
I think most Broncos fans don't have the opportunity because of the waiting list. So what I'm saying is the price of those tickets for what you get is not outrageous at all. I hope they follow the same. By the way, my tickets went up 18% this year, something like that, 19%.
Was that $5,000 for the year or for the season?
For the season for 2 tickets.
So
for
2
10
tickets
games.
For 10 games.
15 rows up.
That's worth it.
I think that's not – I don't think that makes me an elitist.
No, that's a good spend.
And I don't want to hear like, well, nobody has that type of money. People do have that type of money. We rented out. So when I went to law school, we bought our first home. It was a townhome in Aurora. And that was 2009 that I went to law school. Guess what the real estate was doing in 2009? It was in the crapper. So we could not sell it, and we were moving to Kansas to go to law school. We had our longtime tenant. They were there for 5 or 6 years. They weren't rich. They weren't elitist. They had season tickets. They were $3,000 a year. They budgeted because they're probably doing pretty darn well. But it doesn't make you an elitist to just say that it's actually $4,500, $4,800 is a fair price. Maybe $10,000 a seat is a problem. But what we see is it depends on the demand of the team. So that was what I was getting into. I did a little research. And actually, one of the things I was fascinated about is yesterday, somebody texted in. They said, we've been season ticket holders for a long time, but when they go down to Burnham Yard and they start trying to hijack us for more money under the guise of a PSL, we're out. And I was saying, I think there's a lot of bluffing going on there if the prices are reasonable. You would think the Broncos would somehow get a sense for what the market would bear, and they would charge just up to that line and not more. So, for example, I think the Bills' PSLs were somewhere between 35. The Broncos have their famous waiting list of over 100,000 people. I couldn't even, there's no definitive number on it, but I think it was up to half the teams in the league are not sold out on their season tickets. There's no wait list. The financing for the Carolina Panthers, you can pay $21 a month on your PSLs because they're desperate, because they can't sell out their season tickets in Carolina. And it wasn't just them. So I was shocked by this. Your Las Vegas Raiders, you can go to Raiders.com or whatever right now and pay your PSL money and get you some season tickets. Can't do that here in Denver. The 49ers, I could not believe this. The 49ers, you can buy season tickets. The Chiefs, you can buy season tickets. Some of these teams, well, it doesn't surprise me. The Dolphins and the Jaguars and the Cardinals, okay. But the Chiefs and the Niners and the Raiders, most of the teams in the AFC West, throw the Chargers in there. Of course, you knew that. Most of the teams, in fact, all of the teams, now that I think about it, every single team in the AFC West except for the Denver Broncos, you can go to the website right now, and if you want to pay the PSL, you can get your season tickets. So you would think that the Broncos will do it at a way, they will learn from this, and they'll say, well, yeah, we have a waiting list of 100,000. But if we put season tickets by the way, you can leapfrog your way up the list. I was looking at DenverBroncos.com. There's actually 2 separate waiting lists. There's the waiting list for just kind of, and he's saying we've had him forever and we're going to keep him up until the new joint. And when they hit us with PSLs, we're bye-bye. We're not doing it.
Why is he not doing it? Do you mind me asking?
Well, I think one's a matter of fairness. It's a matter of principle. I saw HBO did a Real Sports on this when the Jets and the Giants were rolling out their new stadium, I don't know, was it 10, 15 years ago? Whenever it was. And they actually had a billionaire on that has in the millions of dollars and you guys are building a new stadium, and the thanks I get is that you're going to gouge us. Not that I wouldn't pay something, but I'm not going to pay. If this is the position they're going to take, where it's going to be millions of dollars for the privilege of sitting in your stadium on top of the ticket prices, as a matter of principle, I'm going to say no. And I just got to be honest. Yeah, the Broncos are different than or every other team is trying to do it, which, by the way, it's not working for every other team. If the Niners have not sold out their new stadium and they're still trying to get away with PSLs, maybe you should get rid of your PSLs. Why are the Dolphins charging a PSL? The stadium they built, the Hard Rock Stadium, is the original Joe Robbie Stadium that was, I was a kid. I was 5 years old when they built that thing. It's a dump. Why are they charging PSLs? They didn't get a new stadium. They've upgraded and they've done renovations and things like that. So if I'm a Broncos fan, and this is the thing that does rub me the wrong way about sports right now, is the money is getting so ridiculous. And the Broncos, the net worth of Robson Walton in the 4 or 5 years that he's owned the Denver Broncos has gone somewhere from $50 or $60 billion to over $150 billion in just less than half a decade, a handful of years. And so his response is going to be, yeah, that's great. I like my money. But for the people that have been paying, like my tenants were, like my renters were, making genuine sacrifices so they can support your team, your product, support you financially, a PSL is essentially a giant middle finger to these tens of thousands of families and hardworking people that have supported the Broncos through thick and thin. And you have a different setup here because the Chiefs, their fans don't support the Broncos or the Chiefs the way the Broncos fans support the Broncos. So it's a blatant money grab, and the only argument the Broncos have for it is, well, everybody else is going to do it, so are we.
Well, so let me ask you this then, Dan. Do you feel like if the PSLs are rolled out to the Broncos country,
when they are rolled out, they're coming.
Okay, so being that it's an inevitable that they are coming, do you foresee yourself, what's the over-under on seasons before you end up selling your tickets?
Well, my issue is, because they also, what they won't do here, this will actually cure one thing that the Broncos do, which right now, if you've been buying season tickets all this time, you're only allowed to transfer the season tickets. I think there's only one time a year you're allowed to do it, and it has to be to a immediate member of your family. So you can't transfer your season tickets. So right now, I don't own the rights to the tickets. There's a loyal list. And what the journey's been like, because every once in a while you get an email saying, hey, if you want to skip the line, you can buy, if you want to spend $20,000, you can get in the stadium right now. And we just had some fun with it. And he said, Dan, you know what? I got a pair if you want to buy them. And so I've been buying my tickets that way. So I actually don't have a right to get into the new stadium because I won't have the right to buy a PSL. If he decides that that's something he's willing to do, then I'll keep my tickets. However, what is cool about the new thing is there will be a much better free transfer of the tickets because you will have the right. Now, it's my understanding that you're not supposed to be able to make money off your PSL, but you can get a prorated portion. So let's say your PSL was $50,000 and it's all paid up. And you go there for 5 years, and then you say, you know what? I like staying at home. I got my DVR. I can rewind. I can watch my fantasy stats. I can eat steak from Deer Trail Miko, all that stuff. And you decide, I don't want to do this anymore. You can sell your PSL. Now, it's my understanding you won't be able to sell it for $50,000, even though that's what you paid, but you may be able to sell it for $45,000. Or whatever the prorated portion, because I think PSLs go for like 30 years or something like that. And so you would be able to recoup a prorated portion of your PSLs. But the fans will then be able to start trading PSLs and selling PSLs, and there'll be a market for PSLs. Whereas now, with Broncos season tickets, The Broncos 100% control it. That's it. Like if you're not on the wait list, too bad, and that's the only way you're going to get them, and you're going to wait 10 to 15 to 30 years to get your shot at buying some tickets. And then once you're in that club, then once a year, I think they usually let you upgrade if you want or whatever. So there will be more of an open market for tickets, which I don't think is a bad thing. But I think it just has to be within reason, because to me, I think it's a big middle finger to the fans. And so if they're going to compound that middle finger by just saying, hey, we have so many corporate dollars here, because that's what they did when they built Empower Field. They said, we want corporate money. We don't like the rowdiness of the South stands. So we're going to break those guys up, and we're going to break up our loyal fans, and we're going to cash out as much as we can from corporate dollars. So they already did this once under a different regime. Now, are they going to do it again? Are they going to try and sell everything they can to corporate and have zero home field advantage? I don't know what they're going to do.
See, I think this is a matter of weighing the pros and cons here. Is it worth it to have season tickets, or is it worth it for you to have the PSLs? Because it sounds like you can do a lot of maneuvering with the PSLs rather than having the Broncos dictate how you sell and trade your tickets.
Well, sort of. You can't profit off it, and there are going to be, but it'll be a more open marketplace than it certainly is now, which is not open at all.
So there's the benefit right there.
There's a benefit for it. Now, I do want to do this, and we'll continue the conversation on the other side. But the research I did was, so another thing that would make it more fair is, would they give you time to pay for PSLs? And this was what we weren't sure about yesterday, because when I had looked, they'd said the team's going to want you paid up 6 years from now. So you better save now, because when they kick off in that stadium 6 years from now, you got to be paid up. And Joe did an AI search, and he was seeing that no, that you actually can finance them long term. Well, sort of. The team's going to want their money up front. They will. The only team financing they'll give you at 0% is prior to the stadium opening. Generally, it's different for every team. So, for example, right now the Panthers can't sell tickets, so they got some weird $21 financing thing. You can pay for as low as $21 a month for your PSL. But if you want to have your PSLs taken care of, you're going to have to pay up $20,000, $50,000, $100,000, whatever your PSLs are going to be prior to the kickoff of that first game. However, what they will do is they'll let you put it on a credit card. So they've said, we'll connect you. We're not going to give you 0% interest, but for 8.5% interest or 12% interest or whatever interest rate you qualify for, you can essentially, why couldn't you just do that on your own? I'm sure there will be people that will go get a home equity or interest rate. So you can borrow the money to pay for your PSLs however you want, and they will connect you with lending institutions that'll be happy to lend you the money. So even at 8.5%, if you had a $20,000 PSL, by the time it's all said and done, you'll have paid $30,000. You'll paid an extra $10,000 in interest on your PSL, and that's if you can get 8.5%. So you can you finance them? Yes, but you're going to pay like putting your season tickets on a credit card.
See, the brass tacks here again, Dan, is how much do you love the Broncos, and do you want to see the games in that new stadium? And I got a question off of that as well. Let's say there's a bowl game in this new stadium, this glorious new stadium that they construct. Mm-hmm. Do you have, as a season ticket holder, have rights to the tickets to the concerts if Taylor Swift comes back to Denver, or something along those lines?
Very good question, and we'll set it up this way, and I will address that on the other side. But so, for example, if you buy a suite right now at Ball Arena, it generally, you get everything. I think for very ultra premium events, like not Taylor Swift, but let's say the Eagles came through or something like that, I think you have a right of first refusal. But for the monster truck shows and for the Disney on Ice and all that stuff, you're juiced in. You got your suite, you're good. You have your suite all year long. So what you're asking is, do the same rules apply for season ticket holders at the new Bronco Land Stadium? And I will answer that for you Mr. Boyd on the other side of this break.
It's the ultimate showdown for a great cause.
Setting up the ultimate gold medal showdown.
On June 11th, Brandon Stokely goes head-to-head with Zach By in 100 Holes for Kids. 100 holes of golf. It's a one-day event all to raise money for Recruiting Classroom, whose mission it is to help kids play sports. Who will raise the most? That's where you come in. Pick your player, make your donation, and help kids win. To support Brandon Stokely, head to StokelyCares.com. To support Zach By, head to ZachCares.com.
We've been talking about what's better, tailgating or watching the game at home. Well, the good news is you can have the goodness of DeerTrailMeatCo.com. In fact, one of the reasons people sign up for DeerTrailMeatCo.com is they make sure they get their orders in a couple months before tailgating season because they want that beef goodness at tremendous savings so they can have an awesome tailgate. But I got to be honest, I'm like Sean Boyd. I'd rather just do the grilling at home. Either way, we love to have good quality beef and pork, not only for ourselves, but for our friends, our family, and our guests, and want to entertain them. And that, Deer Trail brings that back into your life because with beef prices exploding, how on earth are you going to afford steak at $25 or $30 a pound for 15, 20, 30 people? You can't. With Deer Trail Meat Co., you can because you're paying up to 75% less, and they're going to deliver this to your front door with a money-back guarantee. Go check out the website. It has all the information, shows you how it works. DeerTrailMeatCo.com. That's DeerTrailMeatCo.com.
Done right kitchens, baths, counters and floors, finished basements, windows and doors. Our 8% scheduling incentive and bank financing to ask about make a great time to call 800-362-8370 or drhi.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-330-8323 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-330-8323. That's 800-330-8323. What do you have to lose? Call 800-330-8323. Again, 800-330-8323.
Hey guys, Mark Schlereth here, and there's no better time to get your yard looking good, and there's no better way to do it than with Rich Lawn. With the organic-based fertilizer, Rich Lawn Turf Food, you'll get greener grass and build your soil for a beautiful yard. And while you're at it, don't forget to check out Revive to revitalize your lawn for deeper roots and deeper watering. Get Rich Lawn and Revive products at your Home Depot or your local gardening center. With Rich Lawn and Revive products, you'll have your yard ready in no time.
In a city full of choices, your savings destination is Groove Toyota, the oldest family-owned Toyota dealership in the Denver Metro. Over 300 new Toyota Tacomas, only $399 a month lease. Visit GrooveToyota.com. $399 a month Tacomas, built for the Rockies. Priced for you. Buy today in person or at GrooveToyota.com. Start here, go anywhere.
Closed and lease for 36 months with $32.99 due at signing. Zero security deposit on approved credit. Call 720-961-4465 for complete details. Offer expires 6/126.
Soda Diet and Nutrition.com. It's where you need to go, or call them up 866-800-SODA. Cecil Lammy here, and 5 years ago I lost 60 pounds with soda, and I'm never going back, never gaining the weight back. Why? Because I learned how to eat, what to eat, and when to eat, and I had a real nutritionist available to me via text whenever I had questions, concerns, or just straight up needed that encouragement. Looking and feeling 10 years younger, you want the same thing? Soda Diet and Nutrition.com, 866-800-SODA, because soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
Flatland Cavalry. Shane Smith and the Saints. Fiddler's Green Amphitheater, Saturday, June 20th. Get your tickets now at AXS.com.
You're listening to the Honorable Judge Dan Jacobs on Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan.
Out on the Shop Honda YouTube chat line, Chris _bro22. Think about the traffic and construction during those 6 years while going to the current stadium. That'll be fun. That is going to be a nightmare. I don't want to think about it. Like I already avoid that like the plague. But welcome to C4 or E470. Like we're just going to have to go around for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, just where they're looking at hosting this new stadium, it sounds like it's going to.
I never liked that choice. One, I think we're swinging away. We're seeing a shift. For 20 or 30 years, it was the cool place to be. Like downtown, people wanted to live there. People wanted to be in Denver. And for a long time, it was like, all right, you live in the city, and then that was the desirable place, and then you kind of branched out. Like, I think we're seeing a fundamental shift here. I don't think it's the hot ticket anymore. But people don't even realize, like, for example, when I first moved here in like 88, it was not Lodo. It was warehouses. We would go down there to my family loved the old spaghetti factory. And it was the old cable car building.
Place too, man.
It was fantastic. You could get a plate of Mazithra spaghetti for like $6. It was fantastic. And we would drive from Aurora and go down there, and it wasn't Lodo. It was a warehouse, warehouses and homeless people trying to beg you for money before you got to your car. No bueno. And then it just kind of pretty quickly after that transitioned, and then Lodo popped. But we've seen a little bit of the shine come off Lodo as of late. If you believe the numbers, I think it was something like 225. Because we have this development going up, we know there's going to be 2 new residential neighborhoods. I don't know if those are all going to be high-rise condos, or I don't know what that looks like. If they're going to be houses or a combination thereof, or townhomes or row homes. But there's going to be retail. There's going to be that. And then meantime, you also have Kroenke working on his project from Ball Arena to beautify that area, make it walkable between Ball Arena into downtown. You know, there's going to be residential and retail units there. I don't love the idea of the location, but it's like James Marilat says, this is where it's going to be. So what are you going to do? I still think it's going to be cool. I'll have fun going down there when I make it down there. I wanted something in the tech center or out by where I live, because I would be more likely, as we become a more suburban
Commerce City, because that's like right in between the airport and downtown, and there's area, there's land, there's a lot of it.
Yep.
They should have kind of stuck their pin in there, down in that area right there. Just beneficial more ways than one. The Lone Tree, obviously, that was a pipe dream, but that's a little bit of a stretch, right?
I liked Lone Tree for a couple reasons. One, it's easy to get to, and it's close to the tech center. What's the difference between downtown and the tech center? Both have tons of people working there. The difference is when you're downtown, parking is an issue. In some yard, you would have to get in your car, get out of whatever parking spot you had or parking garage you had, and drive to lunch. When we go to lunch, we just get in our car and we go. And we drive and we go to the parking lot and we have lunch. But you can't, you don't do that downtown. And so I would have thought it would have given the Broncos a better shot at having a more 5 to 7 day a week kind of vibrant community versus what is probably going to be a game day type area. Like, people that live there are obviously going to live there, but for the rest of us that are not going to live there, we're probably not ever going to go down there unless we happen to get tickets to a game. But I'm not probably going to partake in it very often if it's in the gridlock area where they're going to put it. And I don't want to be in that area. It takes me, so I've been taking these acting classes at the DCPA. They start at 6:30. I have to leave at 5 o'clock to make sure I get there on time. An hour and a half. And that's before Burnham Yard. So, yeah, I don't love the location, but it is what it is. That's where it's going to be. And I kind of agree with James. Like, all right, I guess we'll just grin and bear it.
Jump on the light rail. It's pretty much your fate. So that makes me.
That's what was kind of shocking for me doing research this morning. Well, the NFL, it's the golden goose. Because most just means more than half, right? It maybe I'm wrong, but it almost feels like the majority of NFL teams do not sell out their season tickets.
Well, majority of the teams aren't playing meaningful winning football, right? So, you only have about 12 teams that are actually playing
well,
good
the
football.
Chiefs have been a dynasty. Why wouldn't they have all their season tickets sold out? The Niners, a historic franchise, championships, haven't won one lately, but have been to the bowl twice and are always in the discussion for going to the Super Bowl, at least the last half decade. They have a brand new stadium. Why would they not be sold out? Why can't I go to their website right now and buy a PSL? Doesn't make sense to me. So now the question you asked, which is what I want to really hear from the fan base, you asked the question, Sean. I'm asking the question, how much is enough? We're the most passionate, or one of the most passionate fan bases in all of sports. What's the limit for you out there listening, Bronco fan? Because what if you have, for the first time in maybe your lifetime, you get an opportunity to actually buy season tickets? How much are you willing to invest in that? What's your number? Because before now, you really couldn't do it. You could go online and in the secondary market and buy tickets to a game, but you've never had the opportunity to say, rarely do you have the opportunity to say on top of your seats. That I would like to know.
We were hoping for the best on this one.
On the RamosLaw.com text line, you can just buy a big screen TV for about $200. Who needs PSLs and stadium seats? I'm just not that comfortable going to get. I've been really trying to become a more social person. For example, I went downtown. I went to the convention center the other day. I said, you know what would be cool? A Comic-Con. In fact, it's still going on now. I'm not going to go back because it was too much for me. But it'll be fun. People watching. I can buy maybe some cool stuff, be able to have some DeLorean stuff. I'd never been to one before. I met my buddy Luther Lucero down there, and I went to the Comic-Con on Friday. Took a little time, took a little break, and went down there. And yes, parking was a nightmare, and being in that crush of people was a nightmare. And guess what? A Comic-Con was not for me because they got you jammed in, thousands of people, and you're just elbow to elbow, people in front of you. And I'm not comfortable. I am way, way more comfortable watching sports at home with my stuff, with my grill, my DVR. I can rewind. I can jump around. I got my phone to check my fantasy. I can do all that stuff. I'd rather do that. But what I have been making a point to do the last few years is to say, let's make it special. I'm going to go to one or two CU games a year. I'm going to go to one or two Broncos games a year. And I'm going to go to one or two Miami Hurricanes games a year and just try and make it a special thing. I'm not one of those guys that likes to go to every single game. I just can't stand to be around the people like that.
The rest of Broncos country doesn't necessarily share that same sentiment, Dan. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, year after year, it's sold out, and this past year obviously gives a lot of optimism to the future. Whether that be the brand new stadium, but you're basically looking at a team that's on the cusp of winning a Super Bowl or being in a Super Bowl. That brings the fans out, and they're all going to come out because of that.
But that's right now. But I listened to The Drive with Philip Lindsay and Zach By, and I'm legitimately concerned that by the time this rolls around 6 years from now, Bo Nix's ankles will be completely shot, and they're not going to be any good anymore. Sean Payton will be gone. If I listen to James Marilat, he's only got a year or two left. He'll be gone. Like the Broncos probably won't be in the window anymore 6 years from now. So how does that affect demand? Typically for Broncos fans in the past, it really hasn't mattered because they stick with the team through thick and thin. But you mix in these nasty PSLs.
Maybe you have to lower the cost of the PSL.
It could be a different equation. I already have one season ticket holder on here weighing in. A couple more. Final segment of the Dan Jacobs Show for this week. Which, by the way, I've bonus shows of the Dan Jacobs Show coming up next week. We'll get into that coming up next.
Summer is calling, and we're sending you to the lake in style. Download the Denver Sports app to enter our Day at the Lake contest for your chance to win everything you need for that perfect lake day. You get 2 paddle boards, 2 chairs, a cooler, pop-up tent, and Bluetooth speaker. Oh, and did we mention you also get a $250 gift card to fill up that cooler? Download the Denver Sports app now and enter today. We'll see you at the lake.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Jacob's Law, 303-LAW-4040, 303-LAW-4040. We're talking about season tickets. That was actually one of the reasons I got season tickets, because we get to reward clients. I did a contest last year called Win Dan Seats. So the final game of the year against the Chargers, all you had to do was go to Facebook, like the Jacob's Law page, and then, because you know what we say, 303-LAW-4040. Save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. All you had to do was save the number in your phone. Season tickets, but I got some other cool prizes that we're going to do. But that's one of the things that we like to do at 303-LAW-4040 is be able to reward a client or a listener or something like that and go, hey, you're going to the game on us, because we care about our clients. We're here. You get to see us, and you actually get to sit in our seats sometimes. We're here for you. If you've been hurt in an accident, you actually get to speak either directly with me or my lovely wife, Kimberly, when you call 303-LAW-4040, and then you get to meet with us in person. We're not some fake billboard lawyer or made-for-TV lawyer that never goes in the courtroom and you never actually get to meet. We're there for you. I hope you never need to call us, but if you do, we're here for you. 303-LAW-4040.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
This is Terry Wickstrom. I want to tell you about a financial product I personally really believe in. A home equity conversion mortgage from Mad River Mortgage, your reverse mortgage specialist. The HECM program's only requirements are to live in the home, do basic upkeep, pay property tax and homeowner's insurance. No monthly mortgage payment is required. For more information, contact my friend Mike Rabin at 303-396-2804 or go to madrivermortgage.com. NMLS 1504779.
Mike Rowe here with another fun fact. If your concrete is cracked or uneven, you can actually lift it back up. Whether it's a sinking driveway, a patio, or a sidewalk, do yourself a favor. Call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys. They're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to lift your concrete slabs. Schedule a free inspection with Groundworks, the foundation and waterproofing experts.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Who helps keep Colorado's wildlife wild? Our people do.
Hello, my name is Patricia. I've been with Chevron for over 17 years.
Her team uses GPS to track where mule deer and pronghorn roam throughout the seasons. This data helps us take their habitats into consideration when planning our operations.
When we created our comprehensive wildlife and conservation program, it was really about what was possible.
Learn more at colorado.chevron.com.
Philip Lindsay here. Summer is coming. Time for hikes, golf, and family adventures. But if degenerative joints or those old high school sports injuries are holding you back, discover natural, pain-free relief with Regen RX. Their stem cell treatment, PRP therapy, and shockwave therapy could be the answer to reclaiming your active life. No surgeries, no downtime, and no risk. Get a free consultation today. Text the word PAIN to 303-630-9770. That's PAIN to 303-630-9770.
It's the Honorable Judge Dan Jacobs on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
All right, final segment for this week of the Dan Jacobs Show. But, as it turns out, bonus shows next weekend. I was telling people yesterday that we have 6 hours together this weekend, and then I'm off for a couple weeks because I'm taking the family to Northern Ireland for. They only do this once every 5 years, and it's actually been more than 5 years. In this case, I think it's been 7 years because of the pandemic. DeLorean Eurofest. Northern Ireland, Sean Boyd. So I'm taking off for that. I've never.
Wait a minute, Dan. Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. So you're going across the pond?
Yes.
For a DeLorean show?
Yes.
That's dedication. Go ahead.
It's dedication. Well, because that's one of the things that fascinates me about the car and the company and the story. It was financed by the British government as a way to bring peace amongst the Protestants and the Catholics who were warring against each other in Northern Ireland in the late 70s, early 1980s. And so it's a really cool story. It's probably, to my knowledge, it's the only Irish car you're ever going to see. Now, it was produced for America, but it's an Irish car. And so they built this. That was one of the amazing things about the story that I love. They told this man, he was a top dog at GM. He was the head of GM North America. And he said, you know what? I have a dream to bring quality cars back. None of this functional obsolescence where we sell you a crap car so that you have to buy another one in 3 or 4 years. How about we build one out of stainless steel that never rusts so you can drive it forever, and it's designed to last, and it's cool because it's made out of stainless steel and it's got gull wing doors. You look like an alien on the cover of a comic book like in Back to the Future stepping out of that thing. And they said, nope, can't be done. Tucker tried it. All these people tried and failed. You cannot start a new car company and make cars. And he not only did it, he got financing for it, and he built a state-of-the-art factory and production facility and had cars on the road all within 2 years. Like, he wanted to partner with Porsche on it, and they said, yeah, we'd be interested, but you can't do that in any less than 10 years. So it's pretty darn cool. Now, obviously it didn't work out. The British government pulled the plug on it right as they got rolling, and it's unfortunate part of the history. But the factory is still there. Now, it's a different company in it, but you can actually go to the actual factory, and the original test track is still there, and people are going to bring their DeLoreans. I won't be bringing mine, but other people will bring their DeLoreans, and you get to drive on the original test track in a DeLorean. How cool is that, Mr. Boyd?
Now, that sounds very extravagant. Does the family need to go with you?
Well, so that's the rub. The family is going with me. We'll be the only one doing that. They'll be going to castles and doing all sorts of other things. I will be the only one doing the DeLorean stuff.
Because this kind of sounds like it's brewing up to be like the trip to the Grand Canyon. But that's neither here nor there.
I hope not. Love you, Judge. You come prepared and deliver lots of great information. Your peers don't. Lots of your peers don't, and they find you annoying. That's from Lion Steve in Denver. Lion Steve, not lying Steve like he's a liar. Lion like he's a rawr. Lions don't concern themselves with the opinions of sheep. Lion Steve in Denver. Now, why would you say that, Lion Steve? I know my teammates on the fan here love me. I know for a fact that Zach By is a loyal listener of this show, and he loves it when I point out the fact that he's mongering fear amongst the fan bases about injuries, and that he's the ultimate jinxie cat now in this town, and that he makes the most delicious unicorn ribs that nobody's ever seen. He loves it. Josh Dover loves it when I come on, like, for example, yesterday, and say, man, I admire the flip-flopping you've done on Jamal Murray. Or Cecil Lammy loves it when I read a text from a texter that says, you're right, Dan. Cecil is a very positive person. In fact, he was even positive about how great Paxton Lynch was going to be. Oh, they all love me. Now, they don't want to work with me necessarily because they don't want that smoke. So you're right in that sense.
But they don't want the smoke, Dan?
No, they don't want the smoke. That's why I always roll solo. They don't want the smoke. But anyway, they love me.
Carry on.
They like me. They just don't want to work with me. In fact, I was so excited. One time they let me work with James for 4 straight days during the weekday. I'm like, yeah, we're going to be awesome. They're going to give us our own show and this and that. And midway through, it was either show number 1 or day number 1 or day number 2. I had James so mad. He was so mad at me. And he even said on the show, well, no, this is a lot of fun. I wouldn't want to do it with you every day, though. I'm like, I know. I can wear you out. But no, it's all in good fun. I love my teammates here on the station. On the Champ Honda YouTube chat line, Chris says, the sports team ownership game has become a business. It used to be a billionaire's toy or hobby, and that's exactly right. I remember growing up, my grandfather was my mentor. We spent a bunch of time together, and he was telling me, he says, you don't buy sports teams to make money. You make the money when you sell them, but they know they're losing money. It's a tax write-off and this and that. But somewhere along the line, it's changed, and the Cronkies are example 1A of that. They want to win and make money, but not in that order. They are here as businessmen, and they like to win championships. It's fun for them, but they're not 100% all in committed to that. As, for example, conversely, you say Pat Bowlen. Pat Bowlen, first and foremost, wanted to win and put out a good product. And by the way, they were not cash rich during Pat Bowlen's run as the Denver Broncos. Now, did his family, his estate, make a bunch of money on the team? Of course, because he bought it for, I don't know, I want to say he bought the team for $100 million and $80 million, I don't know, somewhere in that number. And they sold it for what, $4-point-something billion. But in the meantime, he tried to operate it at the highest level. I think more winnings, more playoff appearances than losing seasons the time he was here. I mean, it was just fantastic. That's not the way the Cronkies operate, and that's not the way most teams operate now. And that's sad. But I still, as we said earlier in the show, I don't begrudge the Cronkies for not paying $200 million in luxury tax. But, in the past, they paid $20 million a couple times, and that was nice of them. But they aren't here for the fans. You learn that when they did not care, that basically out of spite, Stan Kroenke kept the Avs and Nuggets off television. That is the ultimate. Talk about PSLs being a middle finger to your fans. How about keeping your teams so the fans can't watch them, or they have to do illegal activities or pirate things to watch your program?
No local television for professional sports is outright crazy.
Yeah, and that's what we had during the primes of Nikola Jokic and Nathan McKinnon and Cal McCarr. That tells you that they're about the business. They're about the money. All right, well, so the reason we have bonus shows next weekend is I'm leaving for Northern Ireland, but I forgot I don't leave till Monday, so I will be back next week right here on the Dan Jacobs Show.
He's Judge Dan J. He doesn't mean no harm, but he doesn't mind telling you he's right, you are wrong. He's reading your checks, he's taking your calls. It's the Dan Jacobs Show, and he'll decide what the law will allow. He's making your day the only way he knows how, by giving you the facts, cutting through the BS now. He's Judge Dan J. He doesn't mean no harm, but he doesn't mind telling you he's right and you are wrong.
Parents, looking for a fun way to get your kid active this summer?
Are you kidding me?
Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan's third annual Be a Mentor, Be a Fan Youth Football Camp is back. Brought to you by Walmart. Saturday, June 27th at Denver South High School's All-City Stadium. Your child ages 8 to 14 will learn the fundamentals of football in a safe, hands-on environment from people who played the game at the highest level. We're talking former Denver Broncos Mark Schlereth, Philip Lindsay, and Brandon Stokely, along with a trusted coaching staff from Denver South. And every dollar raised goes to Big Brothers Big Sisters of Colorado. So your family is giving back just by showing up. Sign up today at DenverSports.com/camp. That's DenverSports.com/camp.
Hey guys, boy Steve here today by my long-term buddy Troy Hansford. And if you're thinking about selling your house for any reason, now might be the time to sell, still get top dollar. Believe it or not, my guy Troy is still offering his $5,000 guarantee. What is it, you ask? Well, if you can't sell your house at your price on your timeline that you agree upon beforehand, bam, going to cut you a check for $5,000. Who else makes the offer? Nobody I've ever heard of. And he makes that offer because he continues to spend a ton of money marketing his listings, has about 100 families approved and ready to buy right now. And if for any reason you need to sell right away, Troy can buy your house all cash and he can close in as little as 7 days. You have a house to sell, Troy probably has that perfect buyer for you right now, waiting for you to pick up the phone and to call him. Call Troy, get your home sold for the most money. That's 720-900-4433, 720-900-4433. Troy Hansford of RE/MAX Professionals, a Colorado licensed broker. Some restrictions do apply. Want to sell your house? Then call my buddy Troy, 720-900-4433.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't like timeshare cancellation business. You don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-881-8686. That's 800-881-8686. 800-881-8686.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now it's the final days of our Everything's on Sale event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses. Our Memorial Day event ends Monday. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
As a social influencer, my days can be busy. 4 a.m., I hit the gym. 4:32, protein smoothie. 5:08, save time and money bundling my home and auto insurance with Progressive. Wait, if I bundle and save time, what would I do then? Just sit here and reflect? Like, why am I qualified to influence anyone? And how those weights are hollow? And half of my followers are bots.
You could save time and money bundling your home and auto when you switch to Progressive. It's one less thing to worry about during your already busy day. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Your medication for enlarged prostate is working. That's what you tell yourself. You're up 3 times a night instead of 5. The urgency is manageable. The stream's not great, but it's fine. That's the problem. Fine. Enlarged prostate, or BPH, doesn't pause because the medication takes the edge off. The prostate keeps growing. The bladder keeps working harder. And over time, those changes can be harder to reverse. But surgery? Not for you, right? Aquablation is not the surgery you're picturing. It's the only ultrasound-guided, robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Don't wait until things become unbearable. Find an Aquablation urologist near you. Call Aquablation Denver at 720-637-9567. 720-637-9567. That's 720-637-9567. All surgical treatments carry risks and results may vary. Side effects may include urinary symptoms, mild pain, ejaculatory dysfunction, or infection. In rare cases, complications to the urethra and rectum may occur. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Visit aquablationdenver.com.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver.
You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
It's the ultimate showdown for a great cause.
Setting up the ultimate gold medal showdown.
On June 11th, Brandon Stokely goes head-to-head
get your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Canty. I'll react to it all in my upon further review at 7 a.m. Eastern. It's Unsportsmanlike weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Finals are set, and every game is on ESPN Radio and on ABC.
Wemby and the Spurs, they rally down 3-2, and they eliminate the defending champs on their home floor in Game 7. And for the first time in 12 years, the San Antonio Spurs are headed to the NBA Final.
We're counting down the days until tip-off. This is Game Day on ESPN Radio.
Tune in for baseball action today as the Cubs host the Cardinals. Coverage begins at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. He's David Dennis Jr. I'm Jonathan Zaslow. Game Day is presented by Progressive Insurance. Last night, Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs win Game 7 at Oklahoma City. I think it's an all-time moment for Wembanyama. I think it's a game that we will remember for a very, very long time. You go on the road, Game 7. I mean, it's been a bit more common, David, over the last few years. This year as well. I mean, Philadelphia won Game 7 at Boston. Cleveland won Game 7 at Detroit. And now we have last night San Antonio winning Game 7 at Oklahoma City. But for the longest time, winning Game 7 on the road was considered an impossibility. It's still really difficult. We see it more often now. But to me, what we watched last night, Wembanyama, first time ever in the postseason, and they win at the defending champs, at the two-time back-to-back league MVP, and to do it in their building in Game 7 to get to the finals, it feels like an all-time NBA moment.
It does for a couple of reasons. One, I mean, Detroit and Boston, with the way that Boston looked in the first round, Detroit and Boston and OKC, two different tiers of that we're talking about. We're talking about a 60-win defending champion team at home with the MVP. This does not happen in the NBA. We do not see young teams do this ever. Like, this doesn't happen. And so that is one reason why this is monumental. The other one is this feels like a changing of the guard crowning moment for Wembanyama. To do this, to have a young team that should not be winning these games. Like, they were down 3-2. We don't see young teams recover from that. Being down 3-2, having lost a game at home.
Down 3-2, and Wembanyama coming off his worst performance of the postseason.
Right, his worst performance. And one of those games that you could look at 99.99% of other young players. They have a game like that. They're in their head. They don't know if they can bounce back. And they go off, and then you say, all right, they're going to lick their wounds and figure things out in the offseason. But constantly, throughout the playoffs, the Spurs have reached this level that is beyond their years. Go to round one. Wemby goes out with a concussion. Spurs blow a huge lead in Portland. They go to Portland. And this is where you lose. Yep. You're supposed to lose this game. They're down big. Dylan Harper comes up huge. You play against Minnesota, a team that's been in the conference finals for the last 2 years. Last 2 years. You lose game one. You're supposed to lose more games from that. Wemby gets ejected. You're supposed to lose after that, right? You get blown out. You lose 2 in a row to OKC. You lose 1 at home. You have a bad game 5. You're supposed to lose after that. That's the thing about this Spurs team that feels like they are, I want to say a team of destiny, but a team that is defying all the odds. They're winning in moments when they're supposed to lose. And now you're going to Madison Square Garden, the biggest arena, all that energy. And I would say any other team has no shot of winning in Madison Square Garden. The Spurs are the anomaly. They're the difference in this instance.
You're right on several different fronts there, because this league, and look, things are changing, clearly, all right? Like we were just talking a few minutes ago, how the league is having the most parity they've ever had, where it's now going to be 8 consecutive years of a unique champion, no matter who wins, San Antonio or New York. So things are happening in the league that have never happened before. And normally, a team to wind up winning a championship has to go through some heartbreak. Now, New York's been through that heartbreak, all right? New York, they lose in the second round. They lose in the Eastern Conference Finals, and now they've broken through to the NBA Finals. Like, New York has been through the heartbreak. This San Antonio team, if they wind up winning the whole thing, they jump straight into the fire and would win the whole thing. Also, young teams don't normally have success in the postseason.
Yeah.
We saw last year a young Oklahoma City team won the whole thing, but that Oklahoma City team did go through some heartbreak the couple of years prior to that. So you have a San Antonio team who's very young and has not gone through any heartbreak and has a chance now to win the NBA Finals. I mean, look specifically to these young players and how they performed last night. I can't believe how good Dylan Harper is. You're not supposed to be doing what he's doing in the playoffs as a rookie. I can't believe how good Dylan Harper is. Even, Stefan Castle from the get-go has looked completely ready for all of these big moments. Devin Vassell as well. Now, Vassell's been in the league for a little bit, but completely ready for these moments. Julian Champagnie, who we made the point of saying how Philadelphia cut him, he talked after the game last night how he thought his career might be over when Philadelphia cut him. And he's a starter and was amazing last night in Game 7. He hit 6 from deep, and he had 20 points. And how about De'Aaron Fox as well, who we know is not healthy and has been lousy this series. Because he hasn't been healthy, he was terrific last night. 15 points, 6 of 12 from the floor. And then, of course, it brings us to Wembanyama, where there is not a whole lot of precedent of a player who is drafted number 1 overall, meaning that there's a major expectation of you if you're drafted number 1 overall. And you, in this short a time, turn that team around and you're in a position where you can win a championship. Let's hear from Victor Wembanyama if he even envisioned being in this position.
Those lines after the gold medal game in Paris, you had said you worried for your opponents in a couple years. A couple years later, is this kind of what you had in mind when you said that?
Kind of, but I don't worry really for them. I'm not worried. I'm worried about winning. That's what I'm thinking about.
Now, this is his 3rd year in the league. And, of course, you took a terrible Spurs team that had been tanking for several years. And in year 3, his first year ever in the playoffs, has a chance to win a championship. Back in 95, Shaq had this chance. Shaq was in his 3rd year in the league, was the number 1 overall pick. Now, granted, Orlando got lucky where back-to-back years they got the number 1 overall pick when they shouldn't have, and you also had Penny Hardaway. But Shaq had a chance to do this in just his 3rd year in the league, and they were swept by the Houston Rockets. I'll tell you, by the way, David, you go back and look at Shaq's numbers, like the first few years. I feel bad. I really do. I feel bad for anyone who – now, Shaq will tell you every opportunity he has how great he was, all right?
Yeah.
He's not going to let you forget it. But I feel bad for people who – didn't actually get to see what Shaq used to do back in the 90s. You want to talk about what Wembanyama's doing, and we've certainly never seen this before. We were saying the same things about Shaq. Like Shaq not as tall, obviously, as Wembanyama, but the things that Shaq was doing, we had never, ever seen that. So Shaq had a chance, but otherwise, like LeBron – LeBron didn't win it with Cleveland his first go-round. Like, he had to leave, so he did not accomplish this feat. Magic Johnson certainly did back in 1980, but the Lakers had the Lakers were good when they drafted Magic number 1 overall. They had a trade that they made from previous years, so they were able to add Magic to a team that already had Kareem. And I feel like the last time that we've been able to say something like this was Kareem very early in his career with the Milwaukee Bucks, where we're talking number 1 overall pick that takes a bad team and so early on in his career wins a championship. Like, it's pretty unprecedented what Wembanyama can do here.
Right, because even when you talk about LeBron's 2007 making the finals, that was the ceiling. There was no question. There was no doubt they were going to lose to San Antonio. The sweep, they were going to get swept. Even when they got swept, even when you talk about LeBron and his finals record, nobody talks about the 2007 lost to the Spurs because it was like, sure,
no chance.
No shot. Victor Wembanyama actually has a shot to do this. And as you mentioned, they're favorite right now against New York. Like that is not something I have ever seen in my lifetime. Like Shaq was the closest, but even Shaq and them would say they were inexperienced. They went out and partied before game one. They thought they had it in the bag. They were not ready for that finals. And as soon as Nick Anderson missed those free throws, that team never recovered from game one. I don't see Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs being like that. Like, even if you have a heartbreaking game one loss to the Knicks, I wouldn't say that they are mentally out of anything because they've shown that level of toughness. Like, that is kind of where Victor Wembanyama is different than what we've seen before. We have not, like, game five, I think, was the only time where I was like, they look a little young. They're looking a little young.
And Wembanyama, is he tired?
Yeah, is he tired? Is he, something's missing here. But to bounce back and win 2 in a row against a team that went 24-1 to start the season, right? They have what? 33% of all the Thunder losses this season.
They beat them 8 times.
And how many times they lost total?
18 in the regular season.
Right, 18 in the regular season. And what, 2 prior to 1, whatever it was. No, they swept both. They swept both rounds.
Yeah,
right?
they were undefeated.
So 18. So, right, quick math. So, yeah, 1/3 of their losses came against the San Antonio Spurs.
It almost seemed unfair when the Western Conference Finals began, where in order for San Antonio to win the Western Conference Championship, they have to beat the defending champion 8 times.
Yeah. That's
unheard
crazy.
of.
Yeah, that's crazy. And multiple times on the road. Not having home court advantage. Like, this is something we've never seen before.
He's David Dennis Jr. I'm Jonathan Zaslow. Coming up next here on Game Day, should the Thunder add their name to the list of suitors for Giannis Antetokounmpo? We'll tell you next. Game Day on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN Radio. Heated rivals take center stage in St. Louis.
Way back there. God! Alex Bregman.
Alex Bregman and the Chicago Cubs face Jordan Walker and the Cardinals. Coverage begins at 6:30 Eastern with first pitch at 7:20 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. A jacuzzi bath system fits in your existing tub space. It's a no-mess installation with an amazing style selection, factory-certified installers, and a limited lifetime warranty. Call 800-717-4599. That's 800-717-4599 right now and get 50% off installation.